Do you think I need to go and paint that yellow BR, bruv?
Arms out to your mum's house. Arms out to your mum's, to your mum's, to your mum's. Arms out to your mum's house. Arms out to your mum's, to your.
I was just thinking that.
Your mum's house.
We can't wear the same fucking t-shirt. Take that t-shirt off, man. Shit. I know, but I'll work first, so. You know me? I pressed record, by the way, so we're recording.
I don't know how you can do the podcast with fucking t-shirt, man. It's freezing.
Well, you know, I got fucking heating in my house, motherfucker. You eat shit.
You dissed me for keeping it too. I told you I got this radiator off this crackhead.
Oh yeah,
like an actual crackhead in the estate. Did I tell you that?
Is it a plug? You plug it in, yeah? It's one of them.
Yeah.
Ones. Yeah. I've seen.
But it works, man.
Yeah,
it works
man,
much better than the fucking
than your shitty radiator. Yeah. How's my internet? Yeah. Is my internet being okay so far?
No, it's like fuzzy.
Oh, okay, fuzzy is fine, but you can hear me. It's not delayed or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, yo, man, last week, episode 53, we had Big Scheme, man. Harlem Bronx in the house. That was incredible.
Bronx, Harlem in the motherfucking arms house.
He was such a cool motherfucker, man. And literally, we had like under 24 hours to prepare for it because I'll tell you how it came about, yeah? Basically, we did like a good few episodes ago, we did the New York train edition, and then I did the graph word association game, and then I edited it for the Instagram with the, you know, the countdown background, yeah? And it was just like, you know, we're doing that. And then I thought, let me send it to all of them. So I sent it to Scene, I sent it to T-Kid, because we mentioned them all in the game. And I sent it to Scheme, I sent it to Lady Pink, I sent it to everyone. And T-Kid commented on it and Scheme commented on it. And then he followed us. And he said, "That's wild, man," or something like that in the DMs. And so I messaged him, I go, "What would it take to get you on the podcast, sir?" You know? And then he was like, "Yo, let's shoot for that, man. Let's shoot for that." And then like,
let's shoot for that, son.
And I was like, all right, that don't mean much. But then I was like, "Yo, we're recording tomorrow. You up for it?" And then he was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it, man. You know what I mean? Call me on here," using the Instagram phone call thing. And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I didn't have my hopes up." But then, boom, I called him. And then the next thing I know, I'm chatting to him on Instagram phone. And I was like, "Yeah, I'll send you the link." You know what I mean? Boom, boom. And then the next thing I know, it's on.
Yeah.
It was so good, man.
And it was like he'd been on 100 times just chatting to him.
He was so chilled by the end.
Just chatting to him about graph.
Yo, the dude is
like
such
we were
a
smoking
don.
a blunt, son.
And I think he was chuffed. Like, you know, it must be cool. Like, you know, imagine you're a kid doing these, like doing graph. Because like he said, like, you know, you never realize the extent of what your artwork is going to do in the future. And then now he's chatting to two weirdos from London going, "Yo, bro, what's up?" Like halfway across the world, just like telling him how cool he is and shit, man. And
that Bronx Harlem in the house, man.
And he dropped so many gems, man. And he was fucking harsh on the sketch critique. He didn't let us down, man. He fucking went in on some proper London Kings. I was like, "Oh, this is a bit but it's Arms House, man, and it's Scheme. What can you say? What can you say?" It's like
he did bring it a little bit, didn't he? What did he say about the fameism? This looks to me like someone on the come up or something.
Yeah, like
not established.
Yeah.
Not established.
I was like, But then you see the trains that they were painting back then. But obviously, I didn't push back too much because, you know, it's Scheme for one thing, and obviously, you know, it was harder to paint those trains than it was even for New York, even in like, because that fame was done in the 90s. You know, these things, they weren't, you know, they didn't spend 4 or 5 hours in the yard like Scheme and them lot did when they did those massive productions. You know, it's crazy. But yo, we do have
Mentally said that was his first train, was his first outline.
And I asked him for that flick because I couldn't find it. And so I couldn't put it in the edit. I'm so pissed off because I went in on that edit, man. I hope you all listening, I hope you all came over to the YouTube to watch that and press the like button because I went in on that edit, man.
Sick video, man. It's a sick video, bro.
But yo, I'm going to put that photo here. The Blazer and Scheme photo from the first piece. He said he freestyled it, man. Like, what a nutter.
Both words. He did both, didn't he?
And the Charlie Brown character and the two characters on either end, and there's clouds around it. That's just insane. On a fucking train, it was his first thing. I still can't believe it, to be honest. But he said it, so who am I to doubt him?
Yeah, exactly. That's how I'm going. If he said it, he said it. You know what I mean? That's it.
And he was being pretty honest about a lot of stuff, because that's the thing. Like he said, the history of the shit gets changed all the time. All these people trying to claim shit, and he spoke out about that. So he obviously doesn't want to be part of doing that as well, man. But I got to send the link to our guest. Let me find out his email. There he is. Oh shit, he's messaged. Okay. Let me just send him quickly. Sorry, man. Uno momentos. I'll cut all this bit out. Unless you want to do a little rant theme.
No, man, I'm going to put my jumper on for chaps.
Okay. We got a really cool guest.
Sorry, Akit.
We got to get Akit on, man. She expressed some... All right, there we go. Boom.
Big hurry love in the house. Big hurry love in the house. Big hurry love. Big hurry love. Big hurry love in the house.
Let me give him a bell quickly. See if he's... Oh, no, he's seen it.
Hey, yo, son.
Hey, brother.
Easy, geezer. We've already started without you. We're recording right now, but join us whenever you can. Whenever you're ready, we're ready for you. So just hit that link in the email and follow the instructions, and you'll get to us. Okay?
All good. Got ya.
Dapper. All right. I'll see you soon.
See you in a minute. Nice one, bro.
Peace. Yeah. All right. He's covered. Okay. So let me just give you all like a little hint of who's coming.
Bruv, look at my finger.
Oh shit! Fuck!
Look at it's all purple up here. It's fucked. And look at that red there.
Yeesh! How the fuck did that happen, theme, man?
That's just from. There's no cut. It's all just bruise and pinched skin.
Oh my god! Was it in the gym?
Bruv, fucking hell! I was in fucking bits. If you trap something in the door or something like that. Yeah. How much it hurts if it's just a little thing like your fit, bro.
It's the worst.
I was doing chest press and 2 dumbbells in each knee because I'm about to throw myself back and be able to go like that. And they're 36 kilograms on each knee, yeah.
Jeez.
And I've got them just balanced at the top because I'm not ready. I'm just about to get. But then my finger must have been in the middle of the 2 weights, and they just went boom like that.
Oh shit!
Do you know what I mean? Like that's fucking hell with my finger in the middle of it.
Let me see that.
I don't know which way and shit my finger was.
Oh my god, that looks so painful. Thing, man. Jesus, that's gonna be with you for a while now as well, man.
Bruv, it's fucking everything up.
Can you bend your finger like that? Like it's not broken.
I can at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's not broken.
Nah, it's just a pinch of the
whole
finger, the top. Fuck me, bro.
Jeez.
And there was no bounce off it. It just went boom, with my finger in it, and I'm like, fuck! And I'm in the free weights bit, with all these people, and I just let them drop off onto the floor.
Oh shit!
And I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, shit, I might be able to firm this. Like, I might have firmed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell how bad it was. It was one of those ones. And then 1 minute or something like that, I was like, fucking I was in so much pain.
Oh man!
And I just dusted through the gym, go and get some ice. They had all ice packs for me and shit. I'm fucking trying to wait for all these ice packs to run out. So luckily I got ice on it straight away. But fucking hell, bruv.
Jesus. Pain. It still hurts now? Is it like a dull pain?
It's massive. Look, it's double the size.
Yeah. That ain't no joke, man. Your finger's swole.
Bruv, like all the way around. Look at the bottom bit. It's just full of blood there.
That's your left hand, right? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus.
Fucking hell.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that,
Jesus
bruv,
to the rice and peas. Man, that happened, bruv.
That's not good. I get that. I mean, I've never trapped it in weights or anything, man. But I bite my nails sometimes, yeah. And sometimes I bite a little bit too much, and it gets infected.
No, that's break.
fills
What are you
up with
talking about,
puff.
bruv? That dirty Rick.
But then it makes my finger just go like swell up, like to double
Mushroom
the size.
finger.
Actually, I got a story when I was at college. I was like, I'd bitten my thumbnail like that, yeah, and I did the same thing, and it literally swelled to like 3 times the size. It looked like a fucking cartoon. Yeah, my thumb. It was so fucking nasty. And I remember I was in class and I was showing it to everyone. Everyone was like, "Whoa, that looks fucking crazy!" Yeah. And then the teacher came in, and then one of the students was like, "Yo, look at Maddie's thumb. Look at Maddie's thumb." And the teacher took one look at it and went, "Go to the nurse. Go to the nurse right now." I'm like, "Nah, that's cool. I'll go afterwards." Go right now. Yeah. So I went to the nurse. The nurse was like, "Go hospital right now. Go to the hospital." And so I think, yeah, so I went to the hospital. I think my dad came pick me up even. I think, I can't remember, but no, I was with my dad. And then I went to hospital, and then obviously they have to cut a little hole and then like push all the pus out of it. It's the most disgusting thing. And I remember the doctor going, "You probably don't want to look at this." Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sorry, Akit.
Sorry, Akit. Sorry, Akit. So I look at my dad, yeah, and I just see his face while they do, because they anesthetized it, so I couldn't feel it or anything, yeah. And just the doctor was just like kind of like, squeezing, massaging all the shit out of it. And I was just looking at my dad's face, and my dad's seen some shit, and even my dad was just like, "Ooh, shit, that's fucked up." Oh shit, we got the guest here. Let's see if he works it out, if he can join in all good.
Your background is incredible.
Here he is. Yes.
Big Harry in the house.
Going, peeps.
Let me turn that up, man. Let me turn that up.
Man, damn.
We got the one and only, the one of the illest
Finest
beat makers. And notice how I didn't say UK beat makers. One of the illest beat makers, full stop, in the house.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
We got Harry fucking Love, man. Salute.
Big up, guys. Salute.
Yes.
Much love, guys.
Yo, thank
Where
you
are
for
you?
joining us.
I'm in the old Laylow Ladbroke Grove, bro.
Hey.
Are you back in the ends?
Back in the zones, bro.
Wicked. Yeah, you've been out
nice.
and about. You've been traveling around. Was it Thailand or where have you been?
Yeah, I had a little mooch around in Asia for a bit,
Was it just, I remember seeing you the day before you left. I was working down on Portobello Road, and you were walking around with the stereo out. You were blasting a Prodigy. What was the name of the track?
Yeah, it's funny. It's the track that it's the Genesis on the
That's
Prodigy
it.
album.
For the wrong cause, put that same strength in the song that'll pay off. Don't forget your soul's involved. That same energy you put out comes right back and revolves. I smash you, done only if I have to. I would hate you, but I'll be more than glad to. The positive and negative war has now begun. P helps you separate both the sides. Let the truth arise. Black devil, don't hide. You can't hide from me. You might from the others. I've been employed to pull your ass out from the covers. You walk like you got hooves and talk like you're supposed to. Checking my brothers and following you. Yo, potential energy is easy.
Yeah.
And that's for me, that song really represents my feelings and experience with the Grenfell thing.
That was it. Yeah.
Not just because leading up to Grenfell, I was listening to that song, and it just for some reason every single word in it just resonated so hard, and then the experience was that I spent a few days looking for my friend out the tower. So by the time I eventually tracked him down 4 days later, and he was still wearing the same clothes that he'd escaped out of the tower in and stuff. And so I said to him, "Look, man, am I bugging, or like, let me play this track?" And we sat in the park, smoked some zoots, and listened to this tune. And he's like, "Yeah, man, it's uncanny." Like, and then Prodigy died like 4 days after that.
Wow.
Which
Yes.
was wackiest shit. But so yeah, just the anniversary looming, and yeah, particularly just how I was feeling at the time. I decided to go out, shoot a video, and just scream at the fucking sky and play that.
Scream at the world, yeah.
No,
I
I
remember
Yeah,
the
you
video,
just
yeah.
Yeah, I just went, "I'm gonna fucking grab the camera, man, film this shit."
Exactly. And I was just following you. I was like, damn, I was on my lunch break. I was like, bro, I can't go for much longer, man.
startled, like, oh.
And I remember, and I remember you saying, "I got a one-way ticket, man. I don't know if I'm even coming back." I was like, "Please come back, but go do your thing." You know what I mean? But please come back. You know what I mean? I'm glad you made it back, man.
Thank you.
And also, we got people who listen, maybe who aren't aware of the Grenfell thing. You know, it was a tragedy that happened here. It's probably the best example of corruption and greed. You know what I mean? It's just horrific, man. What happened?
But yeah, that's right in the center of my community, which is, you know, that's where I've grown up. It's where I learned my chops. It's, you know, just basically everything I would attribute anyone knowing me for really all comes back to this zone, Laylow, Ladbroke Grove, and that, you know, that tower. A lot of my friends from school, my best friend, like I had two best friends that I basically got into hip hop with, and it was my friend Aaron who lived on the road parallel to where I live now. He's long gone out of the ends, and then my other friend Sam, he was on the 13th floor of the tower.
You know,
16th, 13th, a bit confused. But anyway, so we grew up together listening to hip hop, and we used to listen to like Mobb Deep and look out that window. Like it's just such a anyway.
No, but
did you go to school with Kiza and Verb T as well? No,
Verb T grew up, lived across the road. He moved in across the road from me when I was in the last year of primary school. He was just in first year of secondary school, so he moved there, and we kind of got introduced. And it was one of them, you know, parents met, and it's like, there's a kid your age across the road. I was like, I remember when you did that to me last time when we were on holiday, and he was an absolute fucking nerd. No way. Turned out to be my best friend in the whole world. And who was the other one? Kiza. Yeah, Kiza was in the year above me at Holland Park.
Yeah.
Lewis was in the same. Was in Holland Park at the same time.
I was going to say there was more peeps in
Lewis
Holland Park.
Yeah, Lewis
had a reputation for West London hip hop.
I mean, you know, there's a lot of reasons for it. You know too well being a West Sider yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean, like obviously we talk a lot about Graph here, you know what I mean, and the scene when it was developing under the flyover, you know what I mean, Aklam Road, you know what I mean, all those.
Out to Scam One.
Yo, Scam, salute.
Yes,
we got to get him on the pod, man. I don't know if you
Flex One, you know, Laylow is not. It's weird because the name Laylow. The name Laylow is absolutely down to them guys. Do you know what I mean? They named it, and it's gone. It's kind of become bigger than that in itself. It's the name is now synonymous with the area. You know, Twang mentions it on Debt Work, and it's just taken on a life of its own, right? And then you've got like this new venue that's popped up called Laylow, and it's quite swanky, and they didn't really know. Like anyway, it's just lots of little iterations of Laylow. And I think it's really important that at least, like, if we're going to talk about history of stuff, like you guys have been covering a lot of stuff with the Graph history, and obviously it's all kind of interlinked. And I just really think this area is criminally undermentioned in terms of like world music history, man. The building behind where I live is Psalm/Island Studios. Like, you can't really beat just one building. Yeah, Abbey Road is cool, but they didn't make gritty records like fucking Art of Noise, Into Battle, and you know, and then Careless Whisper the next week, and then like Slave to the Rhythm the next week, and Stairway to Heaven some other time, and then Desmond Decker is Israelites, and you know, like Bob Marley,
crazy.
You know what I mean? It's like so much. That's just on this one building, and I grew up only a couple of roads away from that, so. It's just so like there's all of that. There's the Graph that's always been here, and other stuff. I would argue, like when you look at the story of the development of hip hop, the South Bronx story, and all of that, I've always seen so many major parallels, and so many of the breakbeats that are ubiquitous breakbeats have come from these very streets, like Heaven and Hell on Earth, Bubbles. That's Bubbles. You see him up and down the street all the time. He'll be playing Steel Pan on the road, you know. That's Rising Sun's cut. I don't know if that's public knowledge. I think it is, but
that's deep.
Because actually, it's like
even in the last
deep in it.
On the last episode, we had Scheme from Star Wars, man. We had him as a guest, and we were talking about how I mentioned how the influx of Jamaicans coming to America, you know, Cool Herc, and then the sound system culture, and then that spawned into hip hop. You know what I mean? That shit was going on here at the same time.
That's a contentious. Even just that alone, like
Okay.
there's stuff that go with the Bronx. Yeah, I mean, you have to really get into the. It would be good for you to speak to some of them guys. Really, there's like, I've always been slightly dubious about very neat narratives where it's like, this is the man who started it all.
Yeah,
Because
of
anyone
course.
who's a creator knows that it's never in an isolation.
It's never like
isolated.
that.
You know,
It's never like that.
no
Yeah.
one lives in a vacuum. No man is an island like that. It's always.
No, of course.
And it just it defeats the. Not to criticize what you're saying. I'm just saying like this has been going for a long time, and I always had like I was a bit dicey about that story and a few select names, and I've seen how things really work from the inside and from the sidelines and all sorts.
Yeah.
And so just and then I heard people say I was the first one to do this or do that, and I was like, I seem to remember, like I've heard certain producers go, I was the first one to chop up a drum break and reprogram it in a different. I won't say no names, but I'm like, that wasn't made before Malcolm McLaren Duck Rock.
Yeah.
And they definitely went with Rocket in the Pocket. They definitely are cutting up, you know, Cool is Back or one of them Funk Inc. drum break, you know. Like, that's 1983, dude. Like,
no, of course. Yeah, no, I mean,
the battle is 1984. They're chopping up breaks, and I'm hearing other. So I was just like, I don't think this storyline is accurate from what I've seen. And then I happened across these guys from Bronx Dale and all of this stuff, and then the whole story of Disco Twins, Mario, and then the fact that so there is the sound system thing, but I think it's been slightly I don't know who would be responsible, but I think it's been slightly misinterpreted that it's necessarily related directly to Caribbean sound system culture, because if you speak to the people there, they have a different view on that thing. So it's very interesting, because to me, I just think it's incredible that we've had Carnival here since 1962.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
From what I hear from people, my elders around the way, like they told me it was between maybe around 72 when the sound systems actually started coming out. It's all the same shit, hand-built systems and a long-standing culture of that.
I was going to say, yeah, like basically there was that thing kind of happening here as well. Like obviously it didn't come into what we now know as hip-hop and stuff, but
we got jungle out of it.
Yeah, you know, but jungle was influenced by hip-hop as well, you know what I mean? The machines they used to make and the breaks they used in jungle was all coming from hip-hop, man. And even the vocal samples and stuff. But you know what? Talking about West and Ladbroke Grove, there was the legendary venue Subterranea. Yeah. I saw you on an Instagram live just like a week or so ago. I want to play a little snippet here. I got this off of SoundCloud. It's Tribe Called Quest's first ever performance in London. But this is like... Anyway, I'll go into it afterwards, man. I'm sure, and obviously Harry will expand, but this is Tribe Called Quest live at Subterranean 1994. This is just a tiny little snippet.
When? 94.
You know what I mean? Hold on. Let me see what I got here. See, this the shit I be throwing my beats on and shit. Y'all know about the beats. I know y'all motherfuckers know. Y'all cutting edge and shit. This video, we gonna keep putting out albums as long as we want it. Fuck them. You alright? Yes! Oh, that's my shit right there.
That's my shit.
1, 2, 1, 2. Tease me, Bombay. Let's hear that. Any West Indians in the house? Oh, yeah. It's like that, y'all. You don't quit, y'all. That's that shit, y'all. That's that shit, y'all. You don't stop, y'all. You don't quit, y'all. That's that shit, y'all. Go check it out.
So yeah, that's just a little snippet. And now you can hear like the sound quality.
1994, baby.
Yeah, here in West
That would have
London.
been fucking sick. That
And
would
now-
have been fucking sick.
Well, yo,
I was
there we go.
13.
Look, he's got the 45 pack there, of course. But from what I know, you were there with your dad or something when you were, I don't know how old you must have been, man. What, 14, maybe 13?
13,
And
yeah.
you said that was the first time you saw a drum, because that was him playing Q-Tip playing beats from the SP12, right? On stage,
Yep.
and you see that as a kid, and you were like, "I want to do that."
Oh shit!
What you saying?
Brilliant.
So what's up? Could you expand on
Well, I
that?
mean,
In Subterranea, man,
yeah.
sick.
in Subterranea, across the road from my house.
Sick.
I mean, so it's like, I'm like, my best friends introduced me to Tribe, and I've become obsessed with it. And I can't even remember how I caught wind that this gig was happening. I really, probably from one of the. There was a few guys working in the kitchen in my parents' cafe. I grew up above a cafe on Portobello Road. So like there was a couple of like they were probably late teens, early 20s. So they were kind of giving me, they passed me tapes or if there's anything you want to know. So there was one guy called Michael, another guy called Luke. Luke lent me his Technics for a week after Carnival. He couldn't be bothered to take them home. He was like, "I'll leave them with you, and if you break them, I'll break you."
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then, so like, there was this gig, and must have heard about this gig. And I've just gone to my dad, please, man, please. Like, yes, man. Is there any way? I don't even know if I said please. I think I was just like,
Get me into this gig.
what to do? Tribe Called Quest are going to be just there. Like, I have to see them.
And obviously,
I don't even know.
and your pops was a musician as well, and he was encouraging you. So I'm sure he was all happy to see you, enthusiastic about this, man.
Yeah, and he used to listen. He'd hear me listening to this tape or whatever. Or we'd be on car journeys. It'd be like, "Can I play my tape?" Or whatever, yeah, all right. And then after a while, I actually quite like these guys. Or whatever. Yeah, cool. And then eventually over. So by the time I was like, "Man, they're doing a gig," he was like, "Oh, they're doing a gig." He goes, "Yeah, all right, let's go." He was like, "You want to go?"
Yes.
In them, I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Let me see if I can."
Yes.
He went and chatted to someone, and I didn't know who that someone was because I remember him saying something about he knew someone at the venue or whatever. Turned out to be our good friend Elvis. Now Elvis is a fucking hell, man. This guy needs to be on a podcast. Actually, you guys have to get him on it because it's his part of British hip hop history. He was like a roadie for loads of the show for the groups. He did security at a load of venues around here. He's original, he's part of that whole Laylow fraternity in that, and even just like How's Life in London video. He's in that video.
Oh, wow.
I think he signed London Posse and got them. Maybe played a role in getting them on tour with Big Audio Dynamite, which is where they got their name, London Posse. All this sort of stuff.
Wasn't it Justice was the label or something with the Uzi on it with London Posse?
Justice would have been Westwood's
that was
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. That's the name of Westwood's
That
production company. But no, it was something to do. And anyway, Elvis was the one who got us in the gig.
What a name as well, Elvis, man.
Elvis, yeah. And his mum was a dinner lady at my school.
Oh, sick.
Big up the dinner ladies.
Yeah, it's mad. It's just it's like it's super duper community.
Yeah.
And these are funny thing is I didn't really realize, but these are like pretty much they're the first generation of hip hop in this country. Do you know what I mean? So and then also you had Mighty Ethnics and that lot recording in my dad's basement studio.
Damn.
So some of them early records were made like, well, I'm just a kid running around doing my thing.
Absorbing it in. Oh,
yeah,
man.
so, do you know what I mean? Like there was all sorts of that stuff going on, but it was Elvis who got us into that gig, and we stood right above. We went straight in. So if you remember, Subterranea was kind of like the stage. You had a staircase either side, and it was kind of like a horseshoe shape, so you could watch all around. So I was on that side, directly above.
Looking down.
Alicia,
above the stage.
Looking right down at Alicia. I was just like, I need to see what Alicia he's doing. I need to see what mixer is he using. What he's using Stanton's. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I watched everything. And the thing is, I think only maybe 2 months before that I'd got to see Gangstar.
Oh shit.
One of my neighbours, there was a bunch of really hot European girls who'd moved into this house across the road. They just used to walk around with fucking naked all the time and that. Me and my mates. Oh, she was like, "Can we come over there?" And we're like, "Yeah, come on then." And we're like, "Oh." So we run over there and make friends with these girls, and then one of them, they got about a little bit. They used to sort of rub shoulders with some of the guys and that. So yeah, one of them took me to the Gangstar show in Forum,
Damn.
and I went,
Fuck.
"This is fucking amazing. This is just as amazing as this tribe thing." Especially considering it's within it's either within a couple of months or it was within a year. I can't exactly remember. Could have sworn it was both 94. One was, I think, October 94 and one was December 94. So I got taken to this one. I was there at the sound check. I'm just watching, Primo's there setting his shit up. Fucking Afu Ra and J-Ru are doing backflips off the stage. And I'm just like, what? I don't know what the hell to do with myself. I'm just a scrawny little 12-year-old. But, and I'm sat there, and then this guy comes walking past, looks at me, and I'm sort of like, nod at him. He nods at me and walks off. Comes back, walks straight over to me. He goes, "Yo, little man, you like hip hop?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay, my name's Corey." And I was like, "I know who you are. You're CL Smooth." He's like, "Yeah. So if you need anything, just tell that guy over there. Say Corey's got you." And like,
damn. Well, CL Smooth was at the Gangstar gig.
They were the surprise support act.
Shit, Pete Rock.
Releasing Main Ingredient album was coming out the next day, as well as the Question Remains single.
Damn.
Fucking hell, this is like the birthplace, the best birthplace you could get in your early preteen years.
Yeah,
preteen,
yeah,
like 12.
I was the same age as my son is now, man. Just like a year younger than my son is. Actually,
wow.
Around those times where you're just absorbing stuff. That's the age.
Your identity is really just latching onto.
But I want
those two occasions.
I know who you are. You're CL Smooth.
Fucking crazy.
I've reminisced over you. but I want to go back to the tribe thing because you're releasing a tape, right? You've got that audio from that because we just heard a snippet. It's like really crackly. There's a hum to it, but I heard that you've cleaned it up and you're releasing it soon or something on a tape. I just want to talk about that maybe.
So there's basically it was like, obviously I was just I went to that gig, and then a few years later was when I started going up to Uptown and hanging out in the record shops and doing my thing, hanging out in Handspun and then Deal Real. And
you worked in Deal Real, right?
Yeah, kind of like worked and hung out and bits and bobs, but I was just part of the woodwork there. And so like I just made a habit of just asking everyone, "Did you record the Tribe show? Do you know anyone who recorded? Someone must have recorded it." Because I knew people, shout out to Tosh. He used to work at Jive as one of the A&Rs, so he'd hit us up with all the promos and had a lot of good links and stuff like that. So we had good. Anyway, I was just after this recording for, I was just hell-bent on finding. I couldn't believe that it could be possible for something like that to happen and nobody's
filmed it. Yeah.
I was like, even if it's one of their lot, I have to fucking find this recording. And then one day I get just totally out of the blue, I get a message on Twitter. Someone goes, "Hey, you've always sworn that someone must have recorded that show. Well, you were right. Here you go." And I'm like, "What?"
Damn.
It's that SoundCloud link. And so I, obviously listened to that a bunch of times, and then I was listening to it a few years ago. There's so many uncanny things. I mean, I was listening to it a few years ago, and I just decided to put it through. It was a bit harsh, so I just decided to put it through some of my processing thing just to make it sound a bit more pleasant to listen to. And as I was doing that, I thought, hold on, I might as well just hit up the guy and see what he's saying. So we had a chat about it.
We'll get the original files, the original recording.
Yeah, I said, look, if you're up for it, like, I know how to restore, clean up and restore. I'm doing a lot of digitize. This last few years that no one's really been seeing me. In that time, I've been like a mass, gathering together archiving all of the older stuff and making sure anything that hasn't perished yet is backed up or digitized.
You asked to borrow the 3,000 that I got, man. We may still
for exactly that reason. Yeah, you'll see what that is for as well.
I told you I'll lend it to you if you teach me a few tricks on it, man. You know what I mean?
100%.
All right, sweet.
Yeah.
Done. It's on video now, so yeah.
100%.
Nah, salute.
That's my pleasure. I love that. Like,
wicked.
So it just occurred to me, and I hollered him. I said, "Look, how about we just? I mean, it makes perfect sense. Just stick it out on a tape, but I can clean it up first, so it's a bit nicer than whatnot. So he was like, yeah, okay. So he brought the tape over to mine. We redigitized it off my Nakamichi, and I put it through the thing, cleaned it all up nice, and yeah. So we're just going through the process of. I mean, it's going to be extremely limited because you know, we're not trying to take liberties out
of
there,
course.
but it's a piece of history that it's on SoundCloud.
30-year anniversary now.
30-year anniversary.
Mhm.
Midnight Marauders.
We did want to get it out for then. You know, it didn't happen, but it seemed like a perfect moment to make the announcement. And next year would be the 30-year anniversary of the actual gig next December. So yeah, and here's another funny one about it. It's just so many uncanny little loops that happen with this one. So I just jumped on eBay one day looking for just random Tribe Called Quest posters for my wall. The first thing that comes up is a poster of that gig.
Really?
Bosh. Yeah. And I'm like, what the heck? How? And
copying that?
Yeah, I bought it.
Ching! Yeah, straight away.
Right? He comes to my house and I'm like, oh, I've got something for you. I gave him that as a present because it was like, you're giving me a recording of this show. You can have the poster. But it turned out the poster was printed from his flyer off of the fucking SoundCloud page.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Oh, really?
No, nothing about someone who just jacked it off of someone who'd randomly just decided, print that as a poster.
Wow.
Most wackiest thing. That was my present to him, and we only worked it out.
Around 360. That's nuts. You know what? And so you saw that show, you saw them using that drum machine. You were like, yo, I need to get me one of those. You started making beats. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is one of your first releases, right? Such an ill beat.
First one.
Verb T, Harry Love, and who else is on this?
That ill lyrical behavior to make a major player to a hater, make your respirator imitate a pager, make you afraid to make a wager against us with the crew that you claim to fake. That ill lyrical behavior to make a major player to a hater, make your respirator imitate a pager, make you afraid to make a wager against us with the crew who you claim to favor. I make you backtrack like trains in reverse and leave you dead hurt like pains in a hearse. If you're feeling adequate, I'm sure you're blaming a verse that I wrote. So when I'm aiming disperse, my target practice is kind of didactic, meant to teach a wannabe MC who's really an actress. I hit him with an uppercut of tactics, make you backflip and leave you laid out like a futon mattress. Blows are dealt below the belt, hot flows are felt, so you melt. No help are your last words. I undo the lock to hip hop like my rhymes were passwords. I coerce you into panic attacks. Collision with my raps is like Titanic's to ice caps, and if that's not something you can feel, I hit you so hard that the back of your head smacks your heels. The lyrical impact, in fact, brings that star to guarantee you won't be left intact. I sting whack rappers and you couldn't bring back that cat verse, even with the aid of a spin back. Ill lyrical behavior to make a major player to a hater. Make your respirator imitate
a pager. That's Kid Fury.
It's nice to hear that back. That was Verb T, and then Kid Fury's coming in on the...
Comes in next. Yeah. We're not going to play the whole tune. People go out there, check that. I know you re-released it. I bought it off you a few years ago when you re-released that. Ill lyrical behavior.
That was your first ever release?
That was the first
one.
Thing I ever had on wax, man.
99?
99, August 99, September 99. Like
and where did you make that? Up in...
that's some historic classic shit.
In Laylow, in Portobello Road, underneath what is now the cloth shop. So there used to be a studio underneath that belonged to my dad's mate, and that's where we did It's All Live.
Oh yeah.
Did the track with Outsiders and Reveal and that lot, and a few other things. I can't remember exactly what, but definitely All Live was done there. Definitely that one was done there.
Hold on, I think I got that one here as well. Because that's the ill fucking track. But that was years later, wasn't it? Or was it?
Yeah, that was 3 years late. 2-3 years
Coming
later.
to your live. Coming to your live. Coming to your live. Coming to your live. Coming to your live.
It's the psychedelic flame lord, space war, boogie done, shadow king, teleport, fuck teleport. 100 hands like a rapper, spud shoulder, wide shoulder, half pint of whiskey with a shot of Coca-Cola. Lightweight, slash off a 6 clock in my cipher. Blaze saddle, Gene Wilder, it's the sun rider. Sicker sound provider, one man tornado. No smashing tracks like Tony Neweo. Machismo, schizo, sensitive with ammo. Turb cat, close friends get to call me
Yo, Super T is so underrated, man. I love that dude, man.
Number one most requested artist out of my entire catalogue. The number one by a long stretch. Everyone constantly asks, what is happening with Super T? When's he coming back?
And he was in that Champions of Nature with all them man, some classic shit, man. He did. Well, where is he now anyway? Not to stray too far away, but
he's living real life, unlike a lot of us overgrown teenage hip hop.
Yeah, exactly.
he's adulting.
Yeah, no,
he's busy.
Fair enough. Salute Super T, man, no doubt.
No, but Super T, man, I've got that's part of the original camp of people I was, bucking up, hanging around with in the earliest days, like MK, Shorty. I know Super T through MK when I used to go and hang out at MK's house when MK was Brain Tax was in the room next door to MK.
Oh shit.
Super T was there all the time, and obviously, and Super T and Lewis were like inseparable them days. So we were all just hanging out, in between like Handspun, Deal Real, That Yard, and just like cutting up and really just getting into this early iteration of where we went later.
It's crazy, man. And I mean, you just mentioned Brain Tax, that he's like Voldemort. People, we don't like mentioning that dude. Yeah, obviously he did, like, when I'm
out of my mouth as I said
it. Because I remember at uni, man, that album you did was dope, man. I was bumping that, man. You did one of the best tracks, I think, from that album, the opening titles with Skinny Man on it. Let me just play a little bit of that, man, if that's cool.
What you want about you fucking Java Deacon? We'll knock you. Mud family. It's Pyro from Cairo. Yeah, Blak, what? You gotta like don't know. Brain Tax is official mad fam. Skinny Man will tell you that any day. From the same place, blood, Leeds. Now about Chapel Town, Blenheim, Woodhouse, Meanwood, Little London and them places there. We both came from the city of Leeds, where all those wickedest deeds would have to happen for the man to proceed. Now we come to blaze it all across the map. We know where we're coming from, so we know where it's at. It's Brain Tax with Skinny Man blazing a track. Viral funk for all the rap junkies to pack in a sack.
First of all, for all the heads who don't know by now, I'm gonna start from the top and break it all right down. My moniker is Brain Tax when I'm spitting on wax, so when I'm making a track, but when I'm sending a fax.
Just that beat is too ill, man. I mean, we've had Farmer G on the show. We've
love Farmer, man.
Yeah, Farmer is a total don. That's such an ill episode. I can't remember which number it is, but people go back and listen to that one if you haven't already. But
all of Harry's beats as well. Back in the day, Harry had already made for me, you'd already made a sound. There was definitely like the Harry Love production sound.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to know what that is to other people.
It's way bigger, way more in depth, and way cleaner. Everyone was just like, if there's a mixtape going around or something like that, and it would just have all the normal beats on it. If there's a Harry Love beat on it, it would be levels above. You know what I mean?
I would say it's like Primo and Pete Rock had a baby, basically, man. Like,
it's that kind of thing. Otherwise, people just making like boom, boom in their bedroom, and then Harry's putting out shit like that. You know what I mean? It was
very
musical.
Very musical. Even that ill lyrical behavior, you know what I mean? One of your first ones with the, you were going into it from early, man. Like, you could tell
people need to know, man.
Your musical influence was there, and like the influences you were having from around you and stuff, man. I mean,
I was fortunate that obviously my dad was such a massive influence and support, and so hands-on active with the whole thing. Like, so much of this stuff, so much of British hip-hop, if he hadn't been doing what he did, like, many people owe him thanks. Many people even gave thanks and comments on when he passed. The comments, I mean, people were saying stuff I didn't even remember happening, or like Apollo saying he came round to the house and he started teaching him how to play something on the piano. And that was really what my dad was.
Remind me your dad's name. I'm sorry, I want to give him props.
Brian. Yeah, Brian Curran, and he's an incredible musician who never, he put he just put his entire music career on the back burner and focused on me. So now he's gone, and I managed to find his album masters.
Oh wow!
I plan to get that out.
Have you ever sampled him?
Well, I've done. Yes, actually. Funny enough, there's a really super duper rare white label that I did. It was a remix for like a really. Okay, let me not go too far. Yeah, it was a remix for an R&B record, and it was like, anyway. So it's just this weird. It was a weird time. There's lots of like spec remixes and stuff like that coming through for big labels being asked to remix really strange stuff or whatever. But we did this remix package for this lady, and we did two versions of the remix. One was with samples, and then the other one I'd sampled my dad playing the guitar and chopped that, and that's actually so that's not many people know this record, but it's Daisy Hicks Don't Even Go There Medication remixes, and it's got Verb T and Maestro on it.
Sick.
It's actually a really, really nice record, but it's just super duper obscure. So
I'll find it for the edit, man. I'll play it to people, man.
Yeah, I don't even think I've got a copy of it.
Super duper rare white label, Maddie.
No, I'll see if I can find it. If I can't, I can't. But talking about sampling, man, there's not many people can say they have been sampled by J Dilla. And people, if you know, obviously you should know who J Dilla is. If you don't know the name, you definitely know his music, man. Running by Farside, fucking, like, just unbelievable. Slum Village, or Tribe Called Quest, or, Busta Rhymes, just so many classics, man. But I just want to play this Tommy Evans track that was produced by this man right here. It's called Silent Mobius from 2002, right? Something like that.
Yeah, 2 to the 002.
Yeah, that's it. And so if you listen to the beginning, like Tommy Evans, he goes, yeah, yes, or something. Yeah, check it out.
Tommy Evans, Harry Love on the beats. Wired Up Productions, 2 to the 002. Sound of the Silent Mobius. Yeah, it's the balance of life, what? Bring it in like this, what? Yeah. I do this for the love of God, disciplined soul. Extend myself so all our spirits can grow. Survive the blistering cold behind my back. Hateful tongues whisper low. I ain't listening though. Think I said to my face, the fakers and snakes, acquaintances mistaken for mates. To savor the taste of success, Yahweh making me wait. Repentant sinner with the patience of saints. False prophets prosper, trading on hate. I'm losing my religion but gaining my faith. Prisoners hanging miserable lands. Invisible man can put a name to my face. Taught to stay in your place. Coming home to comfort zones. Thieves raging gates. Invading your space. Ain't playing it safe. Life's a gamble. Raising the stakes if I fell. Won't blame it on fate. Let nature take its course. You got tame its force. For most the game of life is spectator sport. Passing them by. I'll be a participant. A dissident causing dissonance to make a difference. But insignificant. In comparison to the magnificence of Allah, the most beneficent. No excuse for cowardice. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing us we're powerless.
Time ticks on and keeps sliding by.
Essa on the chorus.
With a silent eye. And as the wind passes between the trees, you can hear the silent voice of the evening breeze singing la 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 la.
Yo, like, so just to hear this at the beginning again. The yeah. So now, if you hear that, this is from J-Lib, The Mission. Listen to the background. And also on one of my favorite J Dilla tunes, Won't Do.
There it is. Nice.
On Won't Do.
He got one that's cool. Nowadays everybody got two. That'll do, but I need another one.
Crazy. And not even only on that, on this with Guilty Simpson, As Serious As Your Life.
But don't let me have to pull out
This
that
one,
pretty ass R-U-G-E. For the rough, rugged and raw. Rugged and raw. Rugged and raw.
And even on this AG track, Hip Hop Quotable, man. Right at the beginning.
That's right. You smell it. Blood, I spill it. That's what I consider real. Let me show you where the real hip hop artist is.
You all alone in these streets.
Check this out.
Come on. 10 years ago, a friend of mine was laid on the ground.
And like, I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, like you can get someone to say, "Oh, I rate this guy. I don't rate this guy." To sample someone is the ultimate way of saying, "Yo, this shit is dope." Yeah. How can I?
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what. And the funny thing was, like the beginning of that beat, it goes da 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 da. So it's like that's mad long for it. That's but it had to be that for some reason. It had to do that because just the flow of energy needed to be that. So I was like, okay, that's a really fucking long. That's like an 8-beat intro or whatever it's 2-4 whatever it is. It's fucking long. So I was like, look, do some ad libs. I'm going to put an echo on it. Just do some like ad libs that nothing too cluttered, but just stuff that can scratch with on it. I want it like on a cappella on the vinyl. So I've got no records with any kind of vocal pops that I can just scratch with. So I was like, just put that hopefully someone will scratch with it on a record.
Yo, so
did not expect it to wind up like that.
It was calculated then, man, because
and the beat was like every beat I do has got a reference to a group or a producer, or it'll always be some little nod, or not always, but like
no,
often,
I know what you're saying.
What I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So like so that particular one was me attempting to do my take on a JD, not J Dilla. It was before even really J Dilla was a thing, but the JD them big clappy snares that he was doing around that sort of ran the era when it was like he did the Keith Murray record Dangerous Ground, which I've always loved that record. And there was just this particular sound. Actually, Havoc talks about it being like a big inspiration for why his snares have a particular like that's kind of big reverby but clicky sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so I was just going in on that, and again the song is called Silent Mobius, which a Mobius strip that feeds into itself. Again, it's like the Tribe gig and all these weird uncanny coincidences, because the session, the mix session was with Daz IQ from Bugs in the Attic.
Wow.
So obviously Bugs in the Attic are responsible for creating Broken Beat and that kind of.
Yo, that's one of my favorite tunes, is that Hold It Down Bugs in the Attic remix from the Four Heroes, man. Shit.
You know what I mean? So
love
like
that. And that's a very West London sound as well, the Broken Beat thing, man.
And From the Ends as well. Are you really, really from the ends? That's Daz.
Are you really, really from the ends? Are you really, really from the ends?
Motherfuckers.
That was a mom's house lyric. Yeah,
your mom's house.
Are you really, really from the ends? Jeez.
You're not from the ends.
Yeah.
You're not from the bits. You're not from
Do you know anything about that phrase, arms house to your mom's house? Do you like, because we're trying to locate the original source. I know the demon from that Pow Forward remix, he says.
Yeah, that's all I know it for. I know.
Yeah.
I bring arms out to your mom's house.
Yeah, that's it.
Pow, isn't it?
That's it.
Yeah. What were we saying? So, so the
J Dilla. We were talking about J Dilla.
The session. Just another funny coincidence about it was that the session was with Daz, who I'd met doing Words Out. Maestro's first.
Yeah, we bring the words out. What's that? Yeah.
That was done at Daz's studio.
Salute Maestro, man.
Salute Maestro.
Salute big.
Daz IQ. Big love to Daz. He was really effectively my first engineer that I had to work with and to bounce off of and to sort of start getting a grasp on that side of the production process. And and he's just absolutely brilliant and lovely guy as well. So he was really kind, teaching me stuff. We had an amazing working relationship together. It was quite short lived. I ended up working with Alan Maudsley next, but in that session, just to sort of highlight how uncanny the whole fucking Mobius loop thing is that he went. I was saying so something about I wanted the kick to pop in a certain way or whatever, and I was struggling with it, and then he goes, "Oh, I'm going to show you this trick that I learned from he said he'd done some work. I can't remember exactly what, but he'd done some work with like the Stones Throw lot, he said, or with Madlib and JD or whatever. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, there's this trick that they do. So he shows me this trick, which became part of my like work process.
What's the trick? What's the trick, man?
He's not going to say the trick. He's not going to say the trick.
What's the trick, man? Now you tell me off camera, motherfucker. No,
I'll tell you off camera. Bring that NPC and I'll show you.
All right, okay.
But I'll show these tricks later at another time when I get my teaching thing down.
You should,
but,
yes.
It was a real fundamental like technique that helped inform my whole process. So funny enough, it was like I'd received this piece of information, this technique from these guys. It was the beat was a reference to one of those guys. I'm like, let's make it so it's got a bit that can be scratched with. And then how they got the record as well is that me and Jehst were supposed to go to see him at Plastic People, but I ended up not going for some reason. And then so Jehst went down there, and then he calls me the next day. He goes, "Fucking hell, bruv! I can't believe it. I went all the way down. I met them. I had a bag of all of our records. I took everything, right? I've put it down, and I've gone. They've come. I'm like, yeah. Go back to hand them the records, and the bag's gone.
Oh,
shit!
No way.
Like, oh, what? And he's like, yeah, someone fucking nicked it, bruv. It was so close. And I was like, oh,
way.
Like he calls me about a month or however long later. I don't, probably not a month, but yeah, however long later he calls me. Like, have you heard the fucking the J-Lib thing? And I'd heard loads of the J-Lib. The thing was, there was like lots of earlier versions before the album dropped. There was kind of like earlier bootleg versions on CDs and stuff like circulating around. So I thought I'd heard it, but there was all these different tracks that I had on my CD or whatever, and then. So I missed that shit. It wasn't until I went round to his house and I was like, no way. Plays it to me.
Jeez.
Fucking hell, you're not imagining it. And then, so then I ended up in LA, like sometime in the next year. I was out there on my way to do a tour in Australia and staying with friends out there. And so, the J-Lib show was on. So I went down there. And I'd been spending time in Fat Beats as well, which is Repmatic was working there. So
in New York.
I already had a
in New York.
In LA.
Oh, in LA, yeah, there is one in LA. Yes. Yes.
LA Fat Beats was where Repmatic and I can't remember who else, but I'd go in there. So that's how I got to know Repmatic. But I already had a relationship with some of the beat junkies from before that and stuff, like
with Cuba,
from the Scratch Pervert days. And I knew Cuba, I knew Shortcut.
Yeah.
J-Rock had bought my records and been played, like he bought All Live and shit, and so we hadn't met, but then he went on radio and was like, so they said, "Oh, is there any people you want to shout out?" And he's like, "I want to shout out Harry Love, like that I just got his records." And
wow,
so it was just weird, like all these mad connections. So I went to that J-Lib show thinking, okay, like I wonder who I'm gonna see when I walk into this place. Like it's gonna be a hip hop event in LA. Like this is interesting, and it's going to be a bunch of people I know inevitably. I wonder who. And the funny thing is, right, I don't know if you remember, but in back in the days, in the Kung Fu days, when I brought J-Zone over to do Staircase, right, well, I didn't actually bring him over. He was over doing something else, but he came to stay. I put him up at mine and whatnot. So when he was staying at mine, he was like, "Oh, I need to call my friend Brian. He's out here studying. We used to be dorm roomies, like in when they were doing." So that's what the J-Zone record was. It was his college project, and so his roomie mate he was calling, who was studying over here, who turns out to be Danger Mouse.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so it's like, oh yeah. So Danger Mouse would be calling my house, like, "Oh, can I speak to Jay?" Like, yeah. Oh, Brian, yeah. So I knew Danger Mouse from that, and then he was studying in Camden, so he would just come Kung Fu all the time. He'd give me all of the records, like all of that shit, all the early Doom and Danger Doom.
Yeah.
I was getting just handed shit. I was just, oh yeah, cool.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Not knowing that it would become, having no idea, But
yeah. Yo, you mentioned Staircase to Stage with J-Zone. You put that together, right? You facilitated all that. Let me play a little bit of that because I had this ready as well because that's one of my favorite beats as well, man. Check it.
Staircase to Stage.
I lost hope, talking a hot roach, breathing the black smoke, treating these rats like a bad joke, mad broke, saving up coppers in the glass jar for a bag of dope and a crate load of sparkler. My flow's like a crowbar to a fast car. I'm joyriding till I get to where the stars are. Blink, blink, like Jar Jar's rings, but you're funny hard like Jar Jar Binks. I rock the same faded Carhartt since '94. Still hungover from the night before. Head banging like fresh metal. Fuck getting sucked in by the candy like Hansel and Gretel. Leaving mans unsettled by the way that I drop. Fuck a foot in the door. I'll be breaking the lock and taking the lot. So don't get in the way of my props. I'm staying hardcore while you're playing the pop star. But what for? I'm not sure. A couple of bottles of wine and Calvin Klein in your sock drawer. Thinking you got yours. Nowadays hip hop's a lost cause. Fuck rapping, I'd rather mop floors or flip burgers than pay these hypocrites my lip service. Split burning till we turn into sick hermits. All city like bus permits when I drop rough verses. Flinging fakes in a hot furnace. Stop acting like you're not nervous. On wax I've got a body of work like rock circus. Fuck tags, I leave my name in the crop circles. I run tracks cause I learned how to hop hurdles.
I gotta play a bit of J Zone as well, man. I gotta play a bit of J Zone. Still hooked.
Fuck a job. All I do is rest and dress. Tax writing off rubbers when I drop my next cassette. Head raps beef and bring the mad cow on. Zone echoes off your dome like the shut down horn. Whack demos find a place in my trash can. Remember that. Right next to the Swizz Beats instrumental that. They say I'm weak and a rookie. Okay, that's why your mother rocks a bra with a hood. Picture me
next to the Swizz Beats.
Your beats are cool, Swizz. Your beats are cool.
Yo, peace, Swizz, man, with the whole verse.
Yeah, man. There's no hate, bro.
No, of course, man. How did that all like? Okay, yeah. So you was out there. You was in LA. You was linking up with. Oh no, because he's from New York, J Zone, right? And
yeah, no. So the J Zone thing that was 01, and the way that came about was because I got his record Deal Real, and I was just fucking obsessed with it. And this was exactly the same time that I'd crossed paths with Jehst. So. Like, you know, I'd been hit. I didn't know him. It was weird. But everyone assumed that we must have known each other, and we knew all the same people, but we just had not. We'd never been in the same.
Was that the album, the J Zone one with his grandma on the front cover?
Yes. Yeah. Well, that was the album that came afterwards. That was a compilation of that.
How was it? His grandma like holding a 40 or something. And the sampling in that is so underrated, man. And obviously we know J Zone now. He's gone on to become a drummer now, and he's doing funk drumming. Like, dude is incredible what he's doing now. It's crazy, his story. And he kind of got sick and like kind of disenchanted with the whole hip hop thing, and like he's still hip hop to the core, but he's flexing it in a different way. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. That's absolutely correct, and that's a good sort of summary. So like his record. So I got it out of Deal Real, and Peter from Deal Real. Shout out to Peter from Deal Real. Please. I remember him saying like, "Oh yeah, I heard that this is like his college project or whatever," and I was like, "What?" And anyway, so I bought this record, 2 copies. You know, intensely listening to it, and this was really like this is like my first couple of years of just having my little setup, my SP 950 little desk. Very simple little setup, but I was just grinding hard. And like, so listening to this shit and it just really fucking focused in. And so the kind of like the timing of meeting Jehst at exactly that time. It was funny what it was. We were working on the Brain Tax stuff, and Brain Tax was the first studio. That was the first studio I knew of that really just had like a very simple, not cheap setup, but just like a microphone that sounded good, little mic preamp, and a hard disk recorder. And he just had a wicked workflow there. So it was like, okay, now we can actually start getting these tunes done that we were struggling to get finished. Like, for example, I did a post yesterday about the Shorty and Ty tune on the Word Lab 2, and me and Essa had a tune that we were trying to get on there, but because we had no means of like getting the shit mixed or whatever, it just never got submitted in time. I still got it, and it's still an absolutely firing tune. But so So Jehst, like we're working on. I'm doing cuts for Brain Taxes stuff, and we're doing recording sessions in LoLife. I'm taking Duper Styles, which is Essa and Devise, and I'm taking Maestro, and I'm taking Verb T, and one or two other peeps, and so we're doing our demos there, and then Brains is getting me to do cuts for the album and stuff, and then I'm hearing these beats from this guy Ben Grimm. I'm like, who the fuck is this Ben Grimm guy? And then I hear this demo for The Grip, and I'm like, what the who done this? And he's like, that was Will. And I'm like, Will who? And he's like, Jehst. And I'm like, who's that? And he's like, you know, little Billy Will.
Wait, The Grip. What's The Grip?
The Grip on the Brain Tax album.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Samples, like the Bollywood samples.
Yeah. He was loving his Bollywood samples as well at that time. He did a Foreign Beggars remix using a Bollywood sample. I remember around about that time. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So I hear that, I'm just like, what? And I'm like, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, who is this guy? And he's like, yeah, he's about a year or two. He's about your age, like that. I'm like,
you must know him, sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, and he's like, yeah, he was always around at the yard in Cricklewood with me and MK. And no, I don't know who the fuck. So anyway, we eventually do get linked up at some point. I can't remember when. But then we're just like twins, you know what I mean? We're just both, and you think about it, like musically, there's so much crossover about how our production sound, and so there's a lot of very shared styles and sentiments of how we do certain stuff, and then there's other things where we depart.
But Jehst was on an MPC, right? And you were on a SP.
No,
okay.
No. So I'd originally, before the SP, I was using Atari ST and an S900 or an S1000.
Yeah.
That was always my way. That's how I learned from the 80s upwards. Like that was what I was learning on my dad's equipment and his mate's equipment stuff. So that's just generally what I was used to seeing and twiddling with. And so eventually, between like about the age of 11 and 14, I had more and more occasions where it'd be like, someone would lend us some. My dad would go and borrow something, like it was a cheap little keyboard, but I had an Atari ST, and so I was doing that, and Will was using the same setup, S900 Atari ST. So if you look on the cover of the Drifter album,
yeah, of course, yeah,
you can see he's got an Atari ST in front of him, and then there's probably an S900, and then there's the keyboard, which is actually my Emax. He didn't use it for any of those tracks.
Okay,
I just left it at his, said try and use it, and that shit's a nightmare to use that keyboard anyway. So that's what was going on with the stuff with Jehst. And I remember, and I also heard the demo of High Plains Drifter. So then I'm like, bro, when is this shit? Can I want to do some cuts or something? It's like, Ideal's doing the cuts. So I was like, all right, cool. This shit is mad. Like, I need this shit. And I remember when I met Will Jehst, I was like, dude, I've not been as excited about a release as this since Gangstar.
Wow.
Honestly, like that's the last album I was this excited about. That was probably the not full clip, Moment of Truth album. And I was like, and he was like, whoa. I was like, yeah, a real talk, like the High Plains Drifter. Give me that now.
The Bluebells, 1979, all of them, man.
City of Industry.
City of Industry is one of the killerest tunes ever.
What? Yeah. So anyway, we just got great on the same page. You know what I mean? And then like I remember this now in my head, like that. All this. I remember making the beat for Alcoholic and
Alcoholic Author classic.
So I'm listening to this J-Zone shit at exactly the same time, and then I noticed like it had his number on the edge. It said if you want to call out somebody. Or
for the long distance. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
perfect.
Hello? Oh no, it's like an answering machine. I was like, hello, my name's Harry Love from London. I'm just a massive fan, and I was hoping to get in touch with J-Zone. Anyway, nice. Didn't even think anything of it. Just whatever. Go about my day. Half an hour later, phone rings. Hello, may I speak to Harry Love, please?
Damn.
Yeah, speaking. It's like, oh, what's up, man? It's J-Zone. I'm like, whoa. It's like, so then that was, and I was like, dude, is this? So we just got chatting, and I was like, is it true? This is all your college project? He had no no qualms in just completely telling me everything, and so we just became really good friends straight away.
Damn.
And this is before you had anything like email and shit. So literally, like, we used to post each other beat tapes, man.
So how did he
I'd
get his
have-
verse then? Did he come to London? You was out there. Like, what happened?
Yeah, so then I had that. I was building up that track. What was it? He was over here doing something. I seem to remember it's something to do with DJ Greenpeace. Maybe he'd been brought over to do a show for something.
Shout out Dan, Greenpeace, man.
Yeah, shout out to Dan Greenpeace. Yeah. So I can't exactly remember. I wasn't the one who got his plane over here, but I was just like, okay, if you're coming over here, then just come and stay with me for like whatever, a week. You can come and stay in my yard. Boom, boom. We've got to do some music. So, we did that. And actually now when I look back at it, considering how awkward and sort of cantankerous he is as a character. Jay's not going to mind me saying this because I love Lars.
He's an eclectic dude, man, for sure. If you listen to his albums, you'll tell. You can tell.
Yeah, you can. I mean, he's never made any bones about like being completely honest about how he's like a bit. Whatever, like you said, he can't be asked with most of the hip hop shit. He sees it as a big clown show a lot of the time. So he was, and then he was just, so it was quite funny. He was just complaining about like everything, and oh man, like, do you guys eat? I remember it was like saw that we just had butter on the side. Like it was like, yo, you guys just have like butter on the. He's like, this is the butter house. And then up came this hilarious saying, yo, this is the butter house.
I've dealt with a bunch of Americans when they come over here. The questions they have, man, fucking jokes.
Yo, you don't wash with a face cloth? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, the bathrooms over there. Like, anyway, so that was just hilarious. But so the concept. So really, for me, it was just I said to both them, this was the concept of putting them on the tune. It was like, both of them were the first individuals I'd seen go and press their own record. I was just under the impression for some reason that there was this big long rigmarole that you had to go through, and you had to go through some sort of gatekeeper process or whatever. So I just written it off as being some impossibility. Then I'm seeing Jehst coming, Y&R coming with their own records, and they've done their own design and everything. And he was doing illustration and all this. I was just like, I've always been into drawing and stuff. I was always a bit of a frustrated, wanted to do graph and that. Just never really went down that thing. All that.
Did you have a tag? Did you have a tag early on?
Elmo was my original name.
Yeah.
My original tag. I don't even know how the Elmo that exists now is like. It's exactly how he writes it. Is exactly how I.
Elmo ATG. I think he's with ATG and
Elmo,
yeah, man.
So it's a really uncanny thing, but that was my original attempt at doing some sort of having a graph alias or whatever. So originally I was DJ Elmo until the name. So anyway, just to finish with the staircase thing, the concept was like these two guys were both independent artists. They both had like they had this kind of shared J-Zone's production style. I had certain things that crossed over with that Jehst's production style. So there's two producer rappers who are ill on the mic, and it was all about this like surgence of independent. People doing their own independent thing.
From staircase to stage, minimum wage.
Is the that just sprang into my head. That kind of encapsulated. I always loved whenever I heard that line in that tune. It just always gave me this warm feeling in my heart, like hearing Ray say that from staircase to stage, minimum wage.
It's just get an article, a rap page.
I mean, that's not some whining and bitching about holding us down now, man. From staircase to stage, minimum wage. You still see our article in rap page.
And it's mad because there's no acapella of that. So you use the chorus, and you can still hear from Incarcerated Scarfaces, right?
Yeah.
And you can still hear the background of the music, but it clashes, but it just sounds dope, man, with the sample that you used on it, man, which is so ill.
Just the open hat on it, just was it?
I always Detroit Emeralds, it's too ill.
And that's part of the thing. Like to get into the sort of like the technical side of production stuff as well. Like there's a real thing that goes on with like having a snare drum with like a guitar stab there's a thing about tone, sonics and tone. I really very drawn to sonics and tone. That's a lot where my focus goes. So doing those sorts of things, like having that squashed together, so the rap and the beat and the and all of that, like I love doing that. That's part of the thing I really love about making beats.
And I don't know if you feel the same, but when I'm making stuff and you're just like it's like a collage, you're putting things together and you're layering stuff on top, and you don't know, like you might have an idea in your head, but you never know what's going to sound like until you actually do it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but some things that you just don't imagine they'll mesh together, and then you put them together and you're like, yo, they're actually in tune right now, or they're not in tune, but it sounds dope anyway. You know what I mean? And
it just creates this third sort of harmonic that just can't. You take both individual things, it's not there.
And it kind of like, if you, I'm not a musician. I've never learned anything classically. Like I can't play an instrument or anything, but I could imagine the way they think. Before even attempting it in their heads, they'll be like, no, that's not going to work because it's out of tune or it's whatever. But because I'm not classically trained, I'm fucking trying these things out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And then you produce stuff that might never actually, that's the beauty of sampling. Like things get created that might never ever happen if you were musically fucking trained. You know what I mean? You're just literally throwing things to the wall and seeing what sticks. You know what I mean? To a certain degree.
And then you can do stuff that's just completely impossible in the real world as well. So
yeah, man,
that's like I mean, I love that sort of stuff. Like that was very much that era as well. There's a lot of, I was learning, and when I go back to the sort of demos and recordings from that time, it's really cool to hear such a fast, in just space of like 2 years, we made such massive leaps and bounds from track to track to track. It was like we were nailing certain like skill set, like really getting them in the bag and now knowing how to put them to work and use them again. So it wasn't so haphazard and so. It was for a long time, but still, we were just learning how to. It wasn't always just like a fluke or some shit like.
But would you like throughout your beat making time, like are you the type to just make like 100 beats and then 10 of those beats you'd use for something, and then the other 90 would be just stored on a fucking floppy disk somewhere, or like, you know, you're just churning them out and it's just like the odd one, you just be like, you know what, this one's cool? Or would you just put them all out to people and then see what rappers were thinking and people would pick them or whatnot?
No, it was only, I was churning out quite a lot, but it was like, you know, I mean, for a start, like I wasn't really great at digging and stuff like that. I had people like Mr. Thing and Ben Grimm and Cuckoo and stuff teaching me stuff about digging.
Okay.
But I just didn't really have the fluke down yet, or whatever it is that, you know, the thing of just really going and finding bit once in a while. But my thing was like, I don't know how to do that well yet. Mr. Small pieces of stuff and make them work for my. And then also I knew I had the advantage of like having a little bit of musical training, not so formal, but I mean just being a bit more musically astute than your average cat who's just stepping to a sampler or something. And then I'd spent years just twiddling with samplers and pitching things up and down. So by the time I really started going into that, I'd covered more ground than your average.
Because Mr. Thing, I would class as like, you know, one of the ultimate diggers, like, you know, hands down. But he hasn't made as many classic beats as you have. He makes some ill beats. He did a great project with Michael Parkinson, you know what I mean? He's done, you know, recently. But so digging, being good at
for Essa as well, he did some absolutely incredible beats for Essa.
But I'm just saying, being good at digging isn't necessarily leads to making dope beats. You know what I mean? Like like consistently or whatnot. I mean, I'm not trying to diss Thing. Obviously, Thing is a don. But you know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you mean, and that is really that was. I knew that was if I'd have focused on that being the prevailing sort of impetus, then it wouldn't have. I just knew I didn't have that to my advantage yet.
Yeah,
I had the advantage of having someone like Thing passing me bags of records, or I could go digging with him and he'd teach me shit. But I was like, okay, I want to find my own little thing. And also, everyone diggers still are all looking for the same shit, So I was like, I don't want you all finding my stuff, and I don't want you like I want to find my own. And plus, I'm British, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So there's all sorts of wacky British records, especially when you go in the charity shops and stuff. Like we've got charity shops. They've got thrift stores and other stuff, flea markets. We've got charity shops, and there's a whole mad wave of stuff if you really get into that, digging those things. So I was really turned on by being the British kid doing hip hop with a British twist as opposed to British hip hop. Like, you know,
and you could tell from the things that you sampled, and it's funny because you hear the stories of those Americans, you know, Diamond D, Pete Rock, Primo. They go to those record fairs and they're all queuing up, and then they'd have like dealers that they would go to, and there was like trends in certain things, like certain records would get about, and all those people.
You see it now. They're all sampling like anime soundtracks. And
there's like trends coming, but here in England, because we were detached from that to a certain degree, especially back then, we were digging into Polish crates, into fucking Ukrainian shit, like Yugoslavia that doesn't even exist now. I've got records from and shit like that. Harry,
crazy Turkish fucking breaks as well. Belly dance to your Sultan and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean,
that record.
But how are you doing for time? Are you all right hanging out a little bit longer?
I'm all good. I'm all good.
Wicked. Theme had a song to play. I know Harry gave us a song as well, but Theme, I want to play your song, man. Why did you choose this tune, man?
Because I chose this tune because I hadn't heard it for fucking ages, and then it was significant as to why I heard it, what I was doing, but now I can't remember. But I hadn't heard it for fucking ages, and it's because you said, "Should we play Murda?"
Well, we're definitely going to play that. Yeah.
I said, no, play this, man, because this and Kiza as a whole doesn't get enough props for me.
Yeah. That's
basically true. as an MC. He doesn't get anywhere near enough props.
No.
And he kills this. Kills this.
And actually,
that's why I chose it.
Yeah, it's mad that because it's got similar vibe to Murda as well, this one. A little bit with the piano sample. Let's play it. Yeah, this is Harsh Reality.
It's more a story. Yeah, it's got more of a story on it.
But I could only find the radio edit, man. I know there's another edit, but anyway, let's go. This is Harsh Reality by Kiza.
And the hook as well. The hook, which he doesn't do till the end.
So it's not piano. Is that piano or guitar?
Yeah,
I can't even start. That's it. I'm on. Yeah, that's
ain't nothing right, man. Let me tell you something. Check it. I know a place that is horrible, where trouble and feds will follow you, hound and bother you, they surround and swallow you. It's not only the streets that's watching you, so stay diligent, cause man I'm militant in this lost age of innocence. Ignorance is blissful, it hurts when the reality hits you. You try your best not to let the lips of death kiss you. Edge notes, I need about a fistful. Wanna be thugs walking with a pit bull. Dudes with their eyes glued wanna try and stick you. Feds being obtuse and using stupid excuses just to try and shift you. And it ain't nice at late nights. With great whites to take bites out of fake types, but I don't give them opportunities to take chances. Irate bastards always give me bait glances. Little schoolboys in shirts and ties, walking around like they're hurting guys. Just swap grants for a skirt and tights, telling their brethren a world of lies. While hungry brothers feast their eyes on your merchandise. They're lusting after your frozen jewels. Braids who show their tools when they're in arms with opposing crews. So you best watch the road you choose. Do your thing, star, and act like you know the coup. Cause it rains every day in the slums. Miracles don't seem to happen, so I stop praying for one. I suppose that's why I stay in my drum, cause some brains that are young get caught up in the way of the gun. Could you imagine the pain of a mum when she's training to come to terms of someone put 8 in her son, and they're trying to make the streets safer? I read an article about a girl in the paper. Some brains chased her, beat her up and then raped her. I thought later, but they say that it's in our nature to act like thugs and hoodlums with no manners and no breeding. Brains who start arms for no reason get left with their jaws fractured and their nose bleeding, pun their clothes leaking, or a slash to your bolt, bullet holes even. Most kids I know smoke spliffs in broke lifts, inhaling their death through their roach clip and watch adult flicks. They want cash but they can't earn it. They see a ride on the street lash and then burn it. My little cousin never got nicked, but as a youth he always got licks. He shoplifts every minute that the clock ticks for something to shop quick, so he can buy a gold watch or some hot kicks. I'm trying to tell the boy to stop this, cause I don't wanna see him locked up catching with the what list. But like a gem is how I dropped it, so that he knows that we're living in the mosh pits of apocalypse.
for you.
I'm trapped in the harsh reality, won't free me. How can I laugh when crying is so easy? Lost cause I know society don't need me. Blind to oblivious eyes that don't see me. So many lives.
Too good, man. That shit.
Crazy hearing this shit back after all this time, you know.
It's so simple, you know what I mean, as well. But
did you make fucking what estate are you from?
Oh,
you did as well, didn't it?
Trapped in the land of poverty, cracking mothers with thick babies. React with robberies, jack peds and rip AVs. Life is a roll of dice. Wait, let me rephrase that. Life has got more twists and turns than a game of snakes has. See, we're living with it.
And yeah, man. Reveal the fact.
I should have picked that tune, man.
That's another West London Don.
That's a certified banger, that song. That's like one of them, mate.
I always felt like that was a kind of a Murda Part 2 in a sense.
Wow.
That was sold out before it came out. Man, I remember the vinyl, I remember the record cover. Fuck.
Yeah, that was mad.
That's some crazy shit, man. And
that was big. Like we were about to do some big shit with that, but you know, it seems
that was such a banger. As is that Kiza tune. Big up Kiza. Big up Essa as well. We keep talking about Essa.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I want to big him up, man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, that's
he was saying something on Insta that can't remember what it was.
He's
qualified lawyer or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. He's been doing that for years. I mean, like
he's doing that for years. It was something about
award-winning lawyer, man.
He was nominated. But they have a sort of Chambers thing, awards yearly thing or whatever. So he got named as like the best new, you know, like in whatever it is. His particular
it's music.
area.
He's a music lawyer, right? In the music
and entertainment. He's like the guy now. You know, he's my lawyer.
Wow.
But he
that's it.
People, you know? Yeah. He's my lawyer.
Because you know them record company execs be shady.
Oh, record company people be shady for real, man. So I've luckily just got one of the most. This guy has got more integrity than anyone I've ever known and met. Like, he's the loveliest guy, most talented, ridiculous, and just musically, it's just incredible. You know, it's like as a human being, I could just talk all night, and as a musician,
he can spit as well, man. He can spit.
It's just incredible. Like,
and he was the chorus on the Silent Mobius one as well. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was really special as well, having him singing on it.
Yeah.
It's just, whoa, okay. Wow, Nick's just gone straight to singing. Like, yeah, wicked.
It's crazy.
What do you think is the track that you've made out of all the kind of English bangers?
I've got a real soft spot for Liquid Love by Essa and Show Bitchness. That's two.
Show Bitchness. Yeah, I haven't got those two ready, man. Show Bitchness though, on that, what was it on that LoLife fucking like kind of compilation thing? What was it, like first order desserts and main course or some shit?
It was on that, yeah. It was on that on a single with Chester's Wicker Man.
Yes.
But yeah, that, I mean, we did all of that ourselves. We mixed that in in an SSL room in the West End and shit. Like, I'd had plans to get my own shit up and running, but just was never really particularly good at doing so. So
because this was at a time when LoLife was properly established then, man, and that when that one came out, that was like everyone was going for that, man. That was, and it was high quality from the artwork to the pressing, that everything was like really high end, man. That was really when it was on a roll at that time, man.
Yeah, and that was like just a really special moment. Like, we knew in the process of making that album, and we started getting certain tunes in the bag, and also starting getting groups of tunes that was like, okay, it looks like we're now on the way to having an album like in the bag. Like, this is really taking shape. And then there was certain tunes. So much of it was just unpredicted, because me and Verb's grown up together, and then, you know, like I say, like, it's in the days where we'd call each other up and be playing, you know, I just bought this record, like, as kids, I just bought this record, listen to this bit, and whatever. Yeah. And it's like, I've just made a beat, or he'd call me, I've just written a rhyme, like, da-da-da. Oh, I'm just making a beat. So I'd play the beat and he'd be rhyming it. And,
oh man,
oh shit, that works. All right, come around and record it. Da-da.
I can't even imagine the energy at that time. Must have been crazy, man.
It was just beautiful, man. And like, It really was, because you didn't have just that little bit of delay of everything not being so easy that you can just fling it on an email and fling it in Dropbox, fling it here and there. You know, you knew that in order for something to get done, you had your attention had to remain focused on the task at hand. Things can just go slipping about now. But
it's so disposable. It's so disposable now, though. That's the thing, man. It's like, you know, nothing. Like you said, and we've spoken about this before. Theme has mentioned this before. How, like, even when we were talking with Farmer, like the diss between Chester and Wordsmith and all that, it wasn't like you just upload it on something.
I mixed that record, by the way.
You produced that as well.
No, I mixed it.
Oh,
I
you mixed it.
Yeah, I mixed
Yo,
that
Harry had his fingers in it, all the pies.
Yeah, man. I was like, what? What? Nah, come on, man.
We went in depth about that.
I'm backing you, man. I'm backing you, man.
Exactly. Everyone was backing them. But it was like, you know, it was like you had to literally get up off your ass and make something. You couldn't just post shit, you know what I mean? Like, which is fine. Again, like, you know, and also I remember it being quite frustrating back then, man. Like, you wanted to hear something and you wanted to fucking, like, why can't I access this shit? I can only hear it on the radio and record it for 2 minutes while the MC is chatting over it. And you're like, I want to just fucking hear the tune.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely. It's hugely fueled by frustration and rage. You know?
Yeah.
And disheartenment and all this sort of stuff.
Man.
But I mean, part of that is this determination. You know, you motherfucker, you're gonna fucking notice me, or you're not fucking not gonna. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You won't fucking. You'll be laughing on the other side of your face, pal. And that was part of the thing. And then it was just like you had open. I mean, we had so much more to proliferate all of this stuff going on. So we could go record shops. We could go open mic nights, and of which there were many. Like, I mean, you'd have 279 Borderline thing, you'd have Apricot Jam, you'd have FKO Raw, you'd have all these different things. I remember, like, just mad, I remember the energy. Remember when I come into it and into the sort of record shop scene, that's the same time that Skinny and Mudfam kind of just like started being known for just rolling through jams and just either like just had a reputation
with Mongo,
like a rowdy man. I just come through and just whatever.
Jacking everyone.
Salute Mongo, man.
And then you had so Mudfam Berry Crew kind of always in close quarters. So it'd just be a big mob of rowdy breads. Yeah. Like,
they roll deep
and fucking up the mic. Like I would just remember so many occasions walking into a room and everyone would be talking about Skinny just fucking the shit up.
Skinny was crazy.
And this was, and so, like, that was what we had going on, you know? Like, we had so much, there was just so much to indulge in. And actually, also, everyone was indulging. Like, it wasn't out of place to see them, man, at the fucking DMC or to be, do you know what I mean? This is something I think gets missed. And the more people tell this weird culty, that's why I say about that sort of story, this perfectly manicured fucking history of hip hop. It started on this day and it ends on this. Fucking what? Like, it's not. I don't know really what I'm saying with that. I mean, it's just like I know. Well, when I went to the States, I really noticed that being a thing. You know, you'd be in the hood.
They're really big on it. They are really big on it.
You could be
this
in
is
the hood.
The history. This is how it went down.
Yeah, but you'd have some gangster motherfuckers listening to De La Soul or whatever, and then you'd have some fucking hippie kids listening to some mad fucking
NWA or something. Yeah.
Do you think?
And it wasn't just. It was.
Do you think it's partly because of what happened with rock and roll? You know what I mean, and the history of rock and roll. Obviously, you know, people aren't so adamant with rock and roll about, this is the start date, this is the end date. But, like, you know, obviously people like Chuck Berry and fucking what's his name, Rick James, and, you know, everyone goes, Elvis is the king. Elvis is the king. They're like, nah, Elvis wasn't the king of shit, motherfuckers, man. He was biting motherfuckers, you know.
See, that's the thing. That's another part of my lineage is that my dad was a blues guy. Do you know what I mean? So he so I was really raised with a lot of knowledge about, or just secondhand knowledge from him about the blues, the Delta blues movement and stuff. And then also you had like the way my dad was a Geordie in it. So up the north, you've got the northern soul sort of
Themes a
territory.
Geordie, man. Themes mum's a Geordie, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why
We're the
man?
lads,
Why
man.
man?
we? Why are you, man?
But yeah.
We're the tune. And
we're the tune.
And anyway, like I had a perspective on that kind of influence and bearing on stuff, and before I was even into any of hip hop and all of that, like I just used to incessantly listen to Michael Jackson for the first sort of 8-9 years of my life, and then
me too,
and then it was like, I'd hear him talking about Jackie Wilson or
James Brown was a big influence on
James Brown,
Michael Jackson,
and then Stevie Wonder, and whatever. So my dad brought me, a James Brown compilation, a Stevie album, and so I was starting to really like. I didn't know it in the chronological history of things, but I was just starting to really tap into all these different things before.
But like you
and art, noise and shit as well. So these like, I was aware that there was other stuff.
Yeah, but like you said, like, with the origins of hip hop, wasn't like this date. Everything started from here. It was like with the blues, and it kind of, there was so much overlap and creation happening, and then once rock and roll became, and some music exec labeled it as rock and roll or whatever, however it happened, I don't know, it didn't just start on some fucking thing. It was like literally like a big mutation before it becomes that, it's like evolution, with humans, what I mean?
Exactly.
Or with animals, you know what I mean? It's like, you can't pinpoint. It's like fucking, that's it. Like with language, there wasn't the first person that started speaking English all of a sudden going, hey, I'm speaking English now. No, it was Latin became something else, and then became something else. And then it evolved into that thing. So there's impossible to pinpoint the one time where it's like, this is the first dude who spoke English. It's like, that's how it works.
What I found is with the really accomplished musicians is that their range of influences and people art that they appreciate that feeds into their creativity is usually not limited to just like some very blinkered, small, narrow-minded.
You don't think in those terms, yeah, exactly.
Like, for example, Jimi Hendrix would often say that his favorite songwriter was like Bob Dylan, or Buddy Miles used to say the same thing. There's like or maybe he said it about Beatles, but I mean, you had people say whatever they say, but when you go to the actual OGs, like they did have time for each other in various different ways. Some of them didn't. But there's all sorts of other stuff. There's other factors that influence these things that aren't just all about that. Some shit that's totally out of people's control, and how things, even just the development of technology, and how that played into people's, like say, the development of the microphone being at the same sort of time as like Nat King Cole and Bing Crosby and Hitler. Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
You know what I mean? So that's the first time that people are hearing a human voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, here, these are things like, it's more, there's other factors. It's like I'm saying, I'm really fascinated by the music, sound technology, and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, so technology is such a huge part. Yeah.
Yeah, as I've learned about that, it's taught me that there was all these other, like in the old days as well, pressing vinyl, it was all done in the States, and anything outside of the States, we would have to pay a commission to them for using their shit on top of the cost of using it and shipping it or whatever. We had to pay a sort of toll to them. So then that necessitated the EMI, the development of the EMI, which then goes into Abbey Road, and the recording technology on this side of the water, which now we're massively revered for.
Yeah.
That, so these things, it's not so black and white.
No. And also because of my last job, I used to drive a lot around Europe, and I used to dig for records every time I went to some
Did you
weird
go to Brazil?
city. No, around Europe I'm talking. No.
Oh, around Europe, not Brazil.
Brazil actually is different when it comes to getting records.
Brazil, of course you're going to Brazil.
Getting records in Brazil was tricky, man. That shit was expensive and crazy because of how, there's like 3 record pressing plants in the whole of Brazil. And Brazil is like 3 times the size of fucking Europe or whatever. But I
Okay.
remember when traveling around Europe, going through record shops in Holland and Belgium, and they were telling me, I remember chatting to the owners of the record shops, and they were saying how back in the 60s and 70s, it was the Hook of Holland was the port that all the
Yeah,
records would get delivered to. And then they
absolutely.
would
Yeah.
go from there and distribute throughout the rest of Europe, you know? And so when it came for looking for records from that era, you would find more nearer to that place, and then the further you got from it, the harder it would be to
Right.
find them. You know what I mean, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, again, like I was alluding to before when I was saying about the regions, you got the Northern Soul, and when my dad, you know, Geordie's like tended to be. So that's a port town. You know, Newcastle's a port town. My family on that side, they were shipyard workers working on building ships and shit
Yeah.
like that, girders and stuff like that was their thing. So there was stuff that were coming through there. There's in Liverpool, that's another major port, and where you know, there's so many in
Crazy.
Bristol. So there's and then also like we were talking about this in a hip hop context. We're out here in West London. We're very close to Heathrow Airport, so it means all of the imports that land from the States. There's a run. There's
You gotta go through West first, baby.
Yeah, boy.
That's why we better than all you motherfuckers.
Mum's house. So, you know, yeah, but it gets to my house before it even gets to your mum's
exactly,
house.
motherfucker.
So so we could get certain shit before it hit the West End.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the record distributor van would come and drop on a certain shop.
Yeah.
So we would, it's in, and then also like with the early my OGs, my elders, Cuckoo, the Laylow lot,
Salute
Sir
Cuckoo,
Drew.
man. I met him at Carnival when you was DJing out the window at that place. Remember?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I met him there.
Exactly. Yeah, you would have met a bunch of the OGs. That Elvis was the big geezer on the door.
Oh,
there.
no way.
That was Elvis who I was talking about.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Salute Elvis.
So, and if you look in a How's Life in London video, you'll see him in that.
I'm gonna
video.
look it up. I'm gonna look it up, man.
So like, so they, you have Sir Drew. Well, like they argue, there's a strong argument that the first British hip hop records were all Laylow records. You had Dizzy Heights, Christmas Rapping, which is some argue that's the first one.
Wow.
Some argue that Nutriment, London Bridge is Falling Down, is supposedly the first British hip hop.
I don't know
record.
it.
It's an electro record.
I don't know.
Nutriment. Anyway, you check
I'll
that
look it
out
up,
and look at the back of the sleeve, and it's got everyone's names. It was recorded in Battery Studios, and it's like it's crew, KRU or CRU, but crew is like my OG's elders. Do you know what I mean? They're from the sound system. That's the post Windrush, then the sound system culture lot, then feeding into our lot, and then you had Sir Drew from Mighty Ethnics, who he lived in LA and not sure in which other parts of America, but I mean he was in the Crips. He was down with 2 Live Crew.
Wow.
He came over here. Mr. Mix from 2 Live Crew used to live here in Ladbroke Road.
No way.
And so like, and then they had a friend who was on one of the military bases, American military base. So all of the tape, all of the early jam, block tapes and all of that shit, Africa Islam tapes and all of this stuff was getting recorded by this guy on the military base and then getting passed out to these men. So, that's what I was being raised around, you know what I mean? And being schooled by this lot. They were teaching me like where things went and whatnot.
And you know what? All that accumulates to an argument we've had. We had Jazz Kahina on the show. I can't remember the episode number she was on, but go check that out. And we were arguing about the biggest UK hip hop tune. And I was arguing for How's Life in London by London Posse. Yeah. But now I would change my mind and say it's Witness to Fitness by Roots Maneuver. But Jazz Kahina was very, very staunch and very, very adamant that it was this tune right here. We've already mentioned it, but you know, I've got to.
You come for murder.
Got to play it.
Do all in it tonight. But the rascal, them things that them a deal with. Them can't test color.
No, wait, hold on. Let me play a bit louder. It wasn't loud enough. Let's go. Sorry about that.
That's Kiza talking, that first bit, no?
You come for murder. Do all in it tonight. But the rascal, them things that them a deal with. Them can't test color.
You can't test it, man.
Mister, them can't test Kalashnikov. Man figure murder on you tonight. Your soul for dirt. Tell them no rasta.
What? K, lash your ass, Clark, neck off. I split you in half like a gun blast from Lennox. Hotter than flammable rocks. From the manor where man an animal, yamming you like fox. Expert slush, we specialise in handling with man's hatching and planning plots, looking to jam in your spot. But their stamina's not up to par, get ripped apart like red Rizla, Taras. This is terra firm, dog art, state of the art. Go tell them jankros to stay in the yard or get stabbed with a stake to the art. I'm trying to walk a straight path, but you know say it's hard. Sick thoughts of flinging on mask and killing your Clark. Keep running through the back of my head like old dance steps. Get dropped on your doorstep like Dando. Many man ran prang cause my nang flows better than Taliban, still ban shows. Spit flows over Bangra. Spit so cold, make you shock out like it was soca. Terror firm takeover. Take you through the mind state of a tortured soldier who tells tales. Unspeakable horror with lyrics lethal like Bora. Leave you leaking on the floor, star. That's why I don't watch no talk. I read auras and books written by forbidden government authors. Infiltrate your border like ITN reporters, then return with the slaughter. Captured on camcorder, I'm trapped in a damn corner. Chatting to Pandora about boxing a man for her, but she don't know me. Kalashnikov, that black from out of Stokey. Banana boat, mango munching monkey. Kick off your door like Jumanji. Dash you off the 28th floor like it was bungee. I want the blood clean, blood clean. It's murder. When man test the terror.
You all know the song. You all fucking know the song. And you recently posted the original of that. That wasn't the original. You did, and then the label said, nah, you can't release that because too many people will get killed. Like it was just too raggo. And then you
murder each other.
People will just incite too much violence or something.
You get murdered here tonight.
Yeah. And I'm gonna play it. I don't have that tune, but I'm gonna play a snippet of it here for you to check out. But yeah, like I mean, yo, when you were making that, I mean, obviously, like even when we were chatting to Scheme, you know, last week, I keep bringing up Scheme because I'm still boosted that we got that. He said that when he was because I was asking him, I was like, did you know the impact you were gonna have when you were painting those pieces on those trains? And he was like, bro, as a creative, we're not thinking about the future. We're in the moment, and we're making it in the moment, and what happens. It's like we're not thinking about that shit. We're all 16, 17-year-old kids, you know what I mean, trying to do this. I know you weren't 17 when you did it, but
pretty young.
Yeah, you were still young, and I don't know.
Yeah, but with music, there's one of those ones where sometimes you've made something and you're like, even I can tell like other people are going to like this. This is going to be
Funny enough, I did that. There's two records that I was like almost like ducking behind the sofa, just like when this drops. I don't know. I think this could go one of two ways. It could either be like everyone's going to love it, or it's going to people will just shoot it down, and it'll be. It could be like I don't know why. I think because it was just so.
Where was it made? Like, where was it made?
At my yard.
Oh
bro.
Wow! Okay.
At my house. My mum's got
a funny. Your mum was there. Your mum was serving tea and
mum's house to my mum's house, blood.
Bring mum's house to your mum's house.
Mum's house. My mum's house.
Yes.
Not your mum's house. My mum's house. Anyway, yeah, no.
That's literally mum's house to your mum's house. Yeah.
Mum's house. She's trying to get to sleep. 3 a.m. She's got man in the fucking booth underneath her bedroom going, "Mum, we got murder!"
Please tell me your mum knocked on the door and said, "Yo, can you turn it down?"
I'm sure she must be. Much longer. I've got to wake up in the morning.
That is so funny, man.
She's a costume maker, you know what I mean? So she's like, I've got to make this. I've got to make Kylie Minogue's new fucking waxwork thingy, you know. So yeah, it's just this hilarious part of that. Fucking, she often brings that up.
Wow,
it's very funny. I'd love to get her on a podcast just to tell that bit. one day.
Yo,
But
I would love that as
yeah,
well.
mom's house, all up in my mom's house.
But yo, so you made that in your house, and you was there with Kiza and Kalash Knockoff. I'm
Yeah,
assuming
and
just you three.
yeah, I mean, like it took a surprisingly long time to get that record done.
And
So it was like,
so you recorded it to the original beat, and then the record label were like, nah, and then you just did the other beat. What happened?
I did. So we did. No, it was like we did originally. First track to get done or put together was Parrowdice.
Parrowdice is a classic.
Bedroom. We were sat in my bedroom. I had my SP12 there. I don't think I had any other pieces of equipment. I remember it being like working with very limited tools, and I remember just Kiza. I mean, we've brethren from school, so we've already had a very close relationship anyway. So he'd just be in the background, and he's very musical. So he had lots of input. Like I'd be going through different iterations of the drum pattern. He'd be like, "No, like this.
Okay,
you did it." Boom, or whatever.
This is before Kalash had written the lyric or anything.
This is when they're just literally sat in the room while I'm making a beat.
You made it in front of it. Okay.
Yeah, I made Parrowdice in front of it.
Yeah.
It's like it's before. See, so it's the early version of it, which is just literally the drums and the string thing. It didn't have any of the it didn't have none of that. The guitar ding ding didn't have any of that shit. I put that all in right at the end while we were mixing it. I was like, this needs some. I need it. So basically, we did that, and man, I don't even remember if they put down vocals then. I think maybe Kiza might have put down a vocal, but like Kalash, I know Kalash and Scribbler's vocals got done in the same session quite a while later, and then so that was sitting in whatever state it was in. The intro was gonna be. I always intended it to be the intro for Murda because he's saying, "I am gonna kill the fuckery out there," and it's to say we're not chatting about going out and murdering people. It's a Sound Clash tune, and it's about for me, it's about killing the fuckery out there.
Soundboy
dumb
killer
shit that's like this pop bullshit that's trying to, you know what I mean? No, you're not gonna stand in between it. So that was kind of like the attitude of. So, but the tune was so long by that point. It was just an impossible feat. I already had a big task on my hands, just make that a radio record, because one of the things you get told early on in your career is like,
radio. You gotta have the radio hit.
It can't be longer than 4 minutes. Like 3.5 minutes is an optimum radio track. So once you start going over that, and then you're aware, like, if people might switch the tune, like to mix out of that tune early, so you've got to be really mindful what goes where and work with the momentum of the song. So that was really important to me in like maintaining the. And anyway, so we had a first version. We went through like a few different beats for Murda. So my recollection of the exact process is getting hazier as time goes on, but like, I remember we did that first version, and that was the dark one. But I don't remember if that was. I remember having a few different beats.
Can you send me that original one just so I can use it for the edit? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. I remember there was like, well, basically, at one point he took the beat for Lights Out Home to. That was almost going to be Murda at one point. And then and I was like, oh shit, that him on that beat would be fucking sick. And then he came out, he's like, no. And then Kiza was like, thank you very much. Yeah, I'll have that. No, you definitely don't. No. Yep. Harry, give me that one. Do you know what I mean?
Boom.
So then really, like, yeah, we had that. And that must have taken about 1.5 years from like that first session when we did the first version of Parrowdice, early rough version of Parrowdice, and then until I had the fucking label pressure on my ass, because they were just like, we need this next Kailash record, and we want it. We want it. Harry Love and Kalashnikov.
Which label was this again? Remind me.
Kemet.
Oh yeah,
HFM, the label of HFM.
HFM, yes.
So yeah, so they had a very clear.
Shout out the Trackside Burners, man. They're holding it down for HFM.
Oh man, of course,
Big
man.
them up.
Trackside Burners all day.
Yeah.
And shout to Trev and Ez. They had a very clear plan that they wanted the next single to be Kalashnikov, produced by Harry Love. And then I'm like, well, I'm following on from Dago Mentality with Lewis
Parker, yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, that's something to.
Lewis did Zero as well, right?
And Zero as well.
That's
like, I can't be lacking. I'm following on from these two singles. Like, that's a lot now. And the funny thing was, I was there when they were doing Dago. I popped by to see Lewis. They were doing that. That must have been like, this will give you a good example of exactly when things were done. I walked in to Lewis's place in Whitechapel. So the layout was like, when you walk in through this side, there's a little sofa there, and then there's this big mixing desk there, and then his little corner with his samplers and his turntable and whatnot. So like, and then there's the booth in this corner. So like, I've walked in, there's a few people there, Kailash, somewhere, maybe Super T, a couple of heads there. I've gone, all right, Lewis, and he's looked around, he's just given me a smile, not said anything, and he's just turned right back round and put the needle on the record, and then started playing Blak Twang,
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, oh sick. And he was like, bro, it was like, we've both just been listening to this tune like on repeat between recording this. Like when we're not recording this, we just put that tune back on. He was like, bro, you smashed it on this. Like the mix on this is sick. I'm like, bro, fucking amazing. So I'm just sat there hearing this tune coming together. I'm like, oh, fuck.
The pressure.
You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, the pressure, but also, like, I'm a fan, I'm a DJ, you know what I mean? So like, there's so much going on at once, and just being so excited about, like, finally now, like, there's this burgeoning, bustling thing where there's loads of us doing this crazy on point shit, and we're all like rubbing shoulders, and you know what I mean? It was just very exciting. Knew something was about to pop, but that was kind of like the sort of order of actions. It went from that to me doing then making Dago, and somehow then that Zero and Our Time kind of just popping up unexpectedly in between. Then just being like, oh my god, that's not fair.
You knew Kalashnikov, was just killer. You know what I mean? Like lyrically, dude was killing it, man. And you were like, yo, okay, this could, because like you said right at the beginning, you said not right at the beginning of the podcast, but right at the beginning of this discussion, you were saying how this could flop or it could be amazing, and
I felt like that about was the other record.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I don't know if everyone's going to like this, because this is quite sort of glossy to my, I mean, compared to everything else I was doing at the time, it was probably quite, it felt glossy.
It was on Bad Magic, right? That one?
Yeah. So like, and that went like, that got playlisted on radio, and it was like, it did some different things I'd ever seen anything in my career at that point. It was totally different. It was going in a different thing now, like production wise. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, whoa, I'm starting to hear my track or see my track on like TV and shit. And it's like, oh wow.
Shout out Blak Twang, man. That dude, he's put in so much fucking work, man. He brought so many people out with him, and he's the most humble, chill motherfucker. We booked him, me and Nat, little Nat from Big Smoke magazine. We did a night in Ladbroke Grove, actually, in some short-lived venue down that little alleyway thing.
West Bank.
And we did a Blak Twang gig there. Blak Twang and Nicky Black, not Nicky Black Market, Jumpin' Jack Frost, and
I remember.
And that's when I found out that Jumpin' Jack Frost, he produced that tune, Big, Bad and Heavy, Any Man Test, the Leviticus tune. And then it's his sister doing, First You Say Yeah, then you say no.
Oh, really?
I always wanted to know what that
That
was.
was his. That was his sister.
Yeah.
Yo. I found that out on that day, and he was really cool as well, man. And that
man, Jack! The first time I met Jack Frost, I was DJing with him somewhere, whatever. A lot in them days, in like 20, 25 years ago, you'd have hip hop in one room and jungle drum and bass in the other.
Yeah. Always. Remember Deck Effects in Brixton. There was a Beatnuts in one room and DJ Hype in the other room.
Exactly.
It was the fucking sickest shit, man.
That was quite a regular thing for me, going to like doing gigs and then just having these jungle legends in the next room or whatever. I grew up on it. Jungle was a big part of my formation. I wasn't a massive jungle head, but it was a big part of what was going on.
Jungle was massive in Ladbroke Grove as well.
Massive out here. We had two stations. More than 2 stations. We had a bunch of stations actually. We had there was like Ice FM, Maria FM, which I got a little show on, and then Transmission FM.
Transmission FM.
You remember that?
What was the
Yes,
dial?
I
What
do
was the
remember
dial
that.
on that, man? I remember Transition. I can't even remember
I
the dial.
do not remember the dial. But funny thing is, now it's
99.7.
No, that was 99.7 was
mid-90s, bro. We're talking mid-90s.
Yeah,
right. So then, in them days, Maestro was on Transmission with IC3, and Maestro was known as BK.
BK.
He was the best
with IC3.
Him and IC3 was like the duo.
On Jungle was Maestro on Jungle,
bruv. Maestro was the fucking illest. When he was BK, he was. Me and Verb T used to listen to him. Like me and our mates used to listen to Transmission and whatnot. And BK was a firm favorite of most people. And it was like, I remember me and Verbs listening to it one day and just being like, "Did you clock what this guy?" Everyone's going bida bida. This guy's going telling Slick Rick style stories, like telling.
Really, was he
middle and end? Like, well, he was telling stories. So I remember when I met him, I was like, he was like, "Oh yeah, I used to be jungle MC as well, like BK," and I was like, "You're BK! Oh my god! Like, I'm already a massive fan. Like, what the fuck? Like, why did you used to rap in like you used to do story raps?" He was like, "Oh, you clocked it." He was like, "Yeah, that was the Slick Rick influence."
Wow.
I think that's what he said. Anyway, that was like a thing. That was an influence. So
that's crazy.
I don't know where. Anyway, so I spent a lot of time in the same venues with these people, Mickey Finn and Jack Frost and all that. When I first met Jack Frost, that was when he was in his moody days, boy. He was scary. He's nothing like that anymore.
Now he's chill. Yeah.
Lovely man.
Really nice guy.
And thank you. I got to say thank you to Jack Frost because he put me on the list last year for that the festival where what was it that what are they called? Louis Vega and Kenny Dope and Louis Vega.
Wow.
Masters at Work. They had their festival thing, and Easy Mo B and all of that were there, and Spinner and all of that. So I went.
No way.
I know Spinner, but I needed to. I've known Easy Mo B like online and that, but so we got to like meet in person for the first time last year, and that was all because Jack Frost put.
Wait, Masters at Work is with who?
Keni Dope and Louis Vega.
Keni Dope. I might be releasing a 7-inch with Keni. I don't want to say anything too much, but my man Fresidente, who's out in Dubai, he knows Keni Dope, and we might be. Anyway, I don't want to say too much because I don't know yet. We'll see. Cut. We'll see. But listen, man, we've been chatting for a while now. I got one more question. Unless Theme's got something else to add.
Did I cover everything? Because I know I can go on tangents a little.
No, it's been beautiful, Harry, for real. This has been amazing, man. Like, I've always wanted to pick your brains about certain things, and just listening to these tunes and hearing you speak, like, you're...
So many tunes. We should have done like a list. People don't know how many tunes.
So many tunes.
I don't even think of it as being that many. I always just think, that's only a small...
Bangers.
No, but your production really stood out, man. That's the thing. And
that's what I'm saying.
Thank
you guys.
The Harry Love sound.
and your passion really shows through. Even just following you on social media and just like from the few conversations we've had, like I know you feel so strongly about this stuff, and you're not like you're not about, yo, we got to make this money, son, or yo, we got to, you're not motivated by any of these things apart from the music being fucking good. You know what I mean?
But first and foremost,
First and foremost, obviously we need to make money, and we need to not, obviously, big up Essa, big up Essa, the lawyer.
Still putting the love first.
This new, I'll warn everyone here now, like this new version of Harry Love that people are going to be, well, not new version, but like me stepping back to the plate, which is is going to be happening.
Yeah.
Like, don't be surprised when you see me unapologetically stacking that cash, and
so you should be, man. And
so that cash coming back to the plate.
Yeah,
Washing producers, smacking them out the parks. Who the fuck was that dickhead?
I tell you what, we've been doing this podcast for a year now, and every time I mention that we have a Patreon party, people. It's all good sending love and saying, yo, big up, man, I really enjoy it. Yeah, cool, you really enjoy it. Beautiful. I love that you enjoy it, but there is a way you can actually support and show some fucking love. You know what I mean? But anyway,
doing Asia,
the Patreon link is below.
Pay me.
The Patreon link. Anyway, whatever. I mean, whatever. We do this because we love doing this fucking shit, and people take advantage of that all the time, and that's fine. Whatever. We still, we still love it. So, whatever. But I want to play a little something, and then I got a question afterwards, and then we'll wind it down.
So next up, my man Elmo's been up for Mixmaster Weekend. What's up, Elmo?
Hello.
Nice to have you back up here, man. So you've been working hard to make it happen?
Yeah, I just finished school.
Okay, congratulations, man. Congratulations, you know what I mean? Take care of your studies. Best of luck with that. All right, Elmo, so you're going to tear it down tonight. What you got in store?
It's just a load of new... I'm just doing blends tonight. I didn't bring any juggles or any showcase stuff. I left it all at home. Forgot.
All right, so you're going to make it happen, yeah? All right, Elmo, let's just blast, yeah?
Let's just blast, Elmo.
Bring it on! You can set the mood, whatever. Yo, that's DJ Elmo on Tim Westwood back in, like, I don't know when. How old were you? You must have been 16, 17 or something.
15, bro. 15, 16.
15, 16. And this was on, Tim Westwood. This was like, this is when we were scrambling for hip-hop. We were like, where can we hear hip-hop? We need to fucking hear it, man. And there was only 2 fucking things on the radio, like for an hour a week. So there was like maybe maximum 4 hours a week where we could hear hip-hop. And that mixtape there, the mix you did on Tim Westwood is one of my favorite mixes, man. I play that all the fucking time, and it's on your Mixcloud. I know you uploaded it, so I'm gonna put a link below for people to check that mix. The way you start with that fucking Buckwild remix of Bring It On, that's what introduced me to Pharoah Monch, who's my favorite fucking rapper right now. Yeah,
my favorite rapper.
Yo, is Tim Westwood as much of a dick in real life as he seems? That's my question.
I was gonna say. People, obviously, it's a caricature as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
you chill with him. It's a different thing. As soon as the mic goes off, it's a different thing. And he's like, I won't say a bad word against the guy, and I won't co-sign bad shit being said about him, because honestly, even down to like from that first time I was on there. In 96, I'm 14 years old at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I went there with my dad and my little brother and my cousin from Newcastle. And from that day, forever, like until...
Because he's West as well. He's just in Hammersmith, whatever. Yeah, up the road. I know. DJ Thor. I want to shout out my man, DJ Thor. And he was at that Tribe Called Quest gig as well in 94. And he was at the Gangstar gig you were talking about.
Thor's been at everything.
Big up my man Thor. But yeah, sorry. Continue, sorry.
Yeah, no, like, so, yeah, from that first time, Westwood always has just been an absolute gentleman. He's always been very kind and generous with, like, showing support or, like, behind the scenes. He's done way more than just having me on the radio show. He's like... And the other thing is, it's like, I've been out and about in town, and I'll get tapped on the shoulder and tell, hey, Harry, like, da-da-da, how's your dad? How's your little brother?
Wow,
Does he support Newcastle United? Like, da-da-da. How's your cousin from Newcastle? Like, this, we're talking 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And he still, my dad, just before he passed, he was like, I loved him, man. What a lovely guy. He goes, he told me this thing. I didn't even know this had happened, but I remembered the occasion. So there was a time we were doing the Board X, some big fucking snowboarding festival in like Hyde Park. It was we were live on Channel 4, all sorts of mad, like it was mad. It was when we were doing big shit, right?
Wow.
So I'm just like, this was in the day that was full tilt, going from one gig, having to jump in the car, get driven to fucking airport, gun and plane, it's like non-stop, right? So that's all I was really thinking about. I'm just on the stage doing this and that. My dad didn't even mention this, but he was like, until just before he passed, he was like, I was stood there on the side of the stage, you're doing your thing, there's this massive fucking sea of people, and I see right at the back, I see this tall, I'm like,
he's a tall motherfucker. He's a tall
he's like,
motherfucker.
Westwood. And he's like, So he's just looking, he's, whatever, he's stood there to the side. And he sees Westwood now coming through the crowd towards the stage, right? So he's just watching, and comes all the way up to my dad, and he goes, Mr. Love, nice to see you, sir.
Wow.
Shakes his hand, walks off. So I can't have I can't ever.
All right.
I can't ever. He's never done anything bad to me. He's only ever.
I thought we'd end on an arms house moment, you know. No, fair enough, man. Tim, I remember, like I said, he was one of the 2 people playing hip hop on the radio when I was growing up, and that was the only source of hip hop we had, man. But man, unless my man Theme has anything else to add, I think we should call it a day there. Obviously, we could continue.
I've got to eat some food. That's all.
We could go for another hour, 2 hours even, man. This guy here is not only a don and a dapper, but he is a true king in this hip hop shit, man. Thank you, Harry, for joining us.
Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thank you. I'm honoured, humbled. Thank you so much.
West London royalty.
Yo.
Laylow, Ladbroke Grove, all day.
No doubt. Please stay on the line, man. But for the people listening and the people watching, thank you so much for joining us. Please leave a like, leave a comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You know, we don't advertise this podcast. We don't, this is all grassroots shit here. We do it because we love it.
Excellent podcast.
Thank you, brother, man. I really appreciate that. And, we got the fucking, seal of approval from my man, Harry Love. All right. So tell a friend to tell a friend. You know what I mean? Peace, love, and unity. Arms house to your mum's house. I know those are contradicting terms, but still, it's all love. All right.
Arms house to your mum's, to your mum's house. To your mum's, to your mum's house. Arms house to your mum's house. Arms house to your mum's, to your mum's house. Arms house to your mum's house.
We just realized, man, that my man Harry was... I don't even know if this is going to work, man. But Harry was originally supposed to be the DJ for Ali G's show, which was eventually became The Force.
The Force, yeah.
He was the one who became the DJ who was always cussing Ali G. Like Ali G would do some shit and go, he like wanted to be black and he wanted to be a rude boy. And then the actual rude boy DJ was like, nah, man, fuck you. You're a pussy.
Easy now. Easy now. Oh, y'all going with them talks, star? Y'all going like an idiot, man. Fix up, no, man. Definitely. You rascal. Oh, thank you very much.
But that was supposed to be you, and he requested for you to be the DJ.
I actually filmed like the pilot, so we must have been for what ended up being what we shot was like I think the first 2 or 3 episodes of the show.
Yeah.
But then they cut me out and put Force in, and I didn't even know it had happened. I was DJing, so then it got aired on TV, and my girlfriend was on the phone watching it, like as I'm headed to a gig, and she's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh, this is the bit where I'm coming." And it's like, "Yeah, no, there's just some black dude on the screen." It's like,
"Oh no!"
And it's like, "No," and it's not. I was like, "What?" So that's how I found out I got cut out.
But when you watched it, did you was it the same scenario or was it a different scenario?
It was the same. They just reshot those parts. But to be honest, I I wasn't suited for that.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
He got it exactly bang on right what they wanted. I just it wasn't my natural.
It ended up being the Force, who's he listens to the show. So salute the Force. Salute my man Prick Calci as well, King of the Beats Records. I know him and the Force. They've been releasing music together as well, and that's all beautiful.
I wanted to finish because I was starting to tell you I didn't even get to the bit of the story to do with Force. This is why we knew each other, and that's why I mentioned the Ali G thing. So we jumped back on to get this bit down. But just basically in the middle of the night, I got a call while I'm in the studio making some of them tracks we were talking about earlier, and it's the Force. It's, Harry, what are you doing? I'm just smoking weed and making beats.
Yeah.
It's like, right, open your door in about 5 minutes. Just come to your door. Don't ask nothing. Just come to your door. All right, cool. 5 minutes later, I go open the door. Lo and behold, car pulls up. Door opens. Cool Keith pops his head out and goes, "Hey, what's up, man?"
No way.
It's like, "Yeah, Harry, yeah. I'm rolling around with Keith. I thought I'd bring him to fucking meet the best beat maker." I'm just like,
Jesus.
I need to not smoke so much of this shit. What's going on?
No, wait. Okay, wait. Hold on. Let me get this straight, man. So Sacha Baron Cohen was doing Ali G back in whatever it was, 99, was it? 2001, 2000?
It would have been 99.
2000, something like that. Around about 2000. He reached out to you specifically because he wanted a hip hop DJ in part of the show to do the interaction, like because his character was like a wannabe hip hop dude, and he wanted the real guy, but then it didn't work out. And I'm assuming because you were a white guy, and he was.
And also, I just didn't deliver those lines. I didn't get it right. Like it wasn't. How Force done it is perfect.
Is perfect because also there was a bit as well where he did it in Jamaican. He was like, "Yeah, what now, man? What you saying, no, man?" Like that, and then Ali G was like, "Oh yeah, whatever," like pretending like you understood. It was hilarious.
It was really good. It was a good.
It was hilarious, yeah. And Sacha Baron Cohen really captured. Obviously, I don't have to tell you lot that he captured a thing with the Ali G character,
There's actually a dude that it's based on as well. There's actually a guy who used to dress exactly like that. He was like
with the FUBU.
He was an A&R or something like that, and so we'd see him about. He was a bit of a. People would just kind of chuckle when he walked out because he was dressed like literally when it came up on TV. That whole yellow FUBU with the purple and the goggles.
Yeah.
Literally, he must have just gone somewhere and dressed up to just completely mock this guy, and then then this character was born. So then he just must have added this silly fucking accent to the thing.
Yeah.
Accentuate how dumb this caricature. So it's based on this fucking real life geezer.
He expanded on that character, and then it became whatever it became. You know what I mean? This worldwide fucking phenomenon. At the end of the day, man, him and Borat and all these things. So you recorded that, and then obviously they ended up, whoever the producers, whatever. But Sacha Baron Cohen, he specifically asked for you to be on it.
He requested, because what it was, I'd done when I was DJing for Phoebe One, and we were doing we toured with All Saints, we toured with Run DMC, we done a bunch of stuff, and so we were doing mad venues, and we did one thing at Café de Paris, and I just remember being on the decks and doing a couple of cuts, and then I remember these two guys behind me just fucking absolutely wigging out, like, "Do that again!" Like grabbing my shoulder, "Do that again! Oh my god, who are you?" And I'm like, well, it was fucking Femi Fem and Trevor Nelson, just absolutely spazzing, just shaking me by my shoulder, going, "Do that again!" And so I'm like, "Wow, well, nice to meet you guys." And then I ended up in New York. Like, this was May. I went on May 31st, 99, and I went for 10 days. And I'm in Fat Beats like almost every day. One day I'm stood there and I can hear his voice coming up the stairs. I'm like, that sounds like an English accent. And the other voice sounds like, anyway.
Yeah.
Come up and it's fucking Trevor Nelson walks in with Guru and a camera crew.
Wow.
I'm like, what? So, and I noticed as I'd walked in, the whole wall was covered in Gangstar records. I hadn't put 2 and 2 together. They were shooting the full clip documentary for
shit.
TV. So they walked in. So then Guru's come and walked behind me, and then he's just started talking through the whole catalogue of the Gangstar records. I'm like trying to keep my cool, just continue like digging through. So if anyone's has got that documentary, it was on TV a few times. You can see like the edge of my. There's a bit. Anyway, so yeah, you can see the edge of my trousers and my shoe on the edge of the screen. But so when they stopped filming, I was like, all right, Trev. And he's like, who? And I was like, it's Elmo from the gig in Café de Paris. And he's like, why? He starts whiling out again. Why? You're a sick fucking. What are you doing here? Like, so I was like, yeah, just doing my little pilgrimage to hip hop Mecca, you know. And then Guru's just standing there listening to the conversation. So he's like, all right, you say he got skills, kid. And I'm like, fucking. Anyway, so yeah, go back, do this Ali G thing, and I didn't even know how I'd really gotten this gig until after we'd finished shooting, and we're in the green room or whatever. Or no, I remember him sat in the makeup chair. I think I'd brought my little brother to meet him. That was it. And he goes, did you know your big brother's one of the best DJs in the country? That's why he's doing the thing, because I saw him at Café de Paris and I wanted him on my show. So that's how I found out that he personally requested me.
But so it was through Trevor Nelson that Sacha.
No. It was just that was the chronological order of events. So it was basically it was that same Café de Paris event. I didn't know Sacha was there, and I was already a massive fan of comedy, so I was already a fan of the Ali G shit. And then so then that's how I found out. Is he just mentioned, he said it to my little brother as a sort of
crazy. That's crazy. And I was mentioning to you before how my man Reefer CBM did all the graffiti for the Sacha Baron for the Ali G show when it was on Channel 4. All the graph in the background was done by my man Reefer with all the Reefer throw ups, man. And that's crazy that you were the original DJ, but then the Force took over, and rightfully so. Like you said, it worked better.
That was the right decision, absolutely. It stung at the time, but obviously, like that's the ego.
Because you didn't know as well, and also in those times as well, like you didn't know until it aired. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a bit of a kick in the nuts. Like,
I bet, man.
With my girlfriend on the phone as I'm heading to a gig, telling me like, no, it doesn't look like you on the screen. It's a black guy with a do rag,
motherfucker on the screen.
Yeah, guy with a do rag. I'm like, I ain't got one do rag in my collection. But yeah, man, there's been a few of these wacky ones, man.
Yo, that's insane, man. I'm sorry, I had to jump in for this little extra one just for that little gem.
Yeah, no, that was fun. There is a video of the pilot that exists because a number of people have mentioned to me.
With you in
it? There is an edit of that does exist with me in it.
Big up, Harry. Peace, brother.
Peace, bro.
Do you think I need to go and paint that yellow BR, bro?